Welcome to Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. We are... Keegan's going to make fun of me right now. Do it, Keegan.
I'm not making fun of you. I feel like you're beating yourself up enough.
I'm beating myself up too much. I got two in my head. I'm very good at my intro, and then sometimes I just fall off. Hold on, we're gonna do this. We're gonna fade to black.
One more time.
All right, we're all gonna
Just pretend
that didn't happen.
Cover your eyes.
Here we go. We're coming back in
Marker.
3, 2. Everybody's been able to hear me counting this entire time. And we're live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire here at Plus One EXP is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games, and amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun way is sitting down with those designers to play those games or adventures. In tonight's case, we are playing a Mothership first edition adventure that's live right now on Kickstarter. You can go to ttrpg.link /NirvanaKS. That'll take you right over to the Kickstarter for Nirvana on Fire. You can also follow the links in the descriptions down below if you're watching on YouTube or watching this later on. But we're really excited to see you. Eric over on YouTube is very excited to see David Kinney in the flesh. Let's go ahead and introduce David right before he takes a drink instead of right afterwards. David, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do? Tell us a little bit about Nirvana on Fire.
Cool. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Kinney. Pronouns are he, him. And I'm really stoked to be on Plus One EXP. So my Kickstarter for Nirvana on Fire is live right now. It's the expanded edition. So it's a re-release of the original that came out in 2020. It's I call it a Buddhist tinged scenario full of intrigue and Machiavellian politics, where you're exploring the kind of remnants of a terraforming tower that's haunted by this AI that's been reprogrammed to think itself a god. It's one of my favorite adventures. People have had great reactions, and I had a great time designing this expanded edition with the best part, what I imagined, was actually I worked with my friend Jerome Berthier, who's a local artist, and he did all the art, and I love his stuff, and I think it just made it kind of take it to the next level. So yeah, I am jazzed.
Exactly what you expect from a Buddhist tinged adventure, Machiavellian politics.
That's right.
But no, the art is like, I mean, I've seen the original one, but also as soon as you were like, do you want to play this? I was like, this art is going to make me open this press kit and take a look at this no matter what. But I am very excited about all the stuff you've done. There are a lot of seminal Mothership adventures. The work you've done on this one, I'm absolutely excited to explore. I didn't read it too in depth past some of the history pieces, but the timeline and other elements you've done to just kind of get us oriented as players are super helpful, and do something that very few other adventures do, and that's give us a sense of the backstory as players to what's led up to this moment, and let us jump right into the story. So I am super excited to do just that right after we meet our other players. Let's whip around for that. I already mentioned them on stream, expecting them to harass me, but instead they harassed Sarah in the chat instead. And that's Keegan EXE. Keegan, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
Yeah, hi, I'm Keegan EXE. I'm a game designer and a streamer here at Plus One. You can find me online at keeganexe.com.
Awesome.
Super easy. Got that down short now.
Sweet. And then let's go over to Graham. Graham, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online?
Hi, everybody. My name is Graham Gens. I use he, they pronouns. I am a game designer and facilitator. Currently, my big push this year is for Cast Gamers. I'm the education lead over there, so please join us. We have a Discord and a website. It's cast, C-A-S-T-T, gamers.org, where we are a community of applied, therapeutic, and tabletop designers using intentionality to better explore the games that we love.
Yeah, we've done a couple different partnerships with the Cast folks. I've been on a couple of panels. Guest over there. I'm a huge fan of the community and the work that they do as somebody who has a background in spirituality and therapeutic work. I think people should go check it out also, too. I didn't know you had stepped into that role this year, Graham. I'm super excited. I knew you were a part of that community and very active over there. I'm very excited to have you in that role also, though, too. And then last but not least, we've got coming back, Kit. Kit, always glad to have you. Tell people who you are, what you do, and all the doobly doos.
Always good to be back. I'm Kit. You can find me online at KitRollCause on Twitter and just KitRoll on Instagram. I do a lot of playtesting and Let's Plays, both here and over on Lost Caravan RPG, also on Twitch. So come hang out.
Cool. Cool. Well, with that said, we always use a couple different tools anytime we play a game, especially with a different group of folks, to make sure that we all stay on the same page and that everybody's comfortable during play. The primary tools we use, unless a system tells us otherwise, are lines, veils, the X card, and the open door policy. Lines and veils are things that we address in specific ways during play. So lines are things that may happen in the universe of the game, but don't happen in the course of our play of it. They are off limits. They're things we do not want to have happen. We have a hard line against sexual coercion and sexual violence on the channel. Veils are things that may happen in the course of the game, but we approach them only within a certain way, or we fade to black when they happen. We touch on them lightly and then move on. And then the X card is the ability for, at any point in time, anybody to say X. We pause the game. We identify what the issue is, though no explanation of why you don't like it is required. We'll pull that piece out and then move forward in a different direction. With that said, does anybody have any lines or veils they want to add to our play tonight? Or, David, is there anything that we should be aware of? Because Mothership is a horror game.
That's right. I'll just start with a brief overview of what to watch out for in this game. It is Mothership. It's sci-fi horror, so it's all the things on that menu you'd expect. If you've seen Alien, Aliens, or The Thing, you kind of know the types of horror you're going to get in for tonight. Beyond that, I don't think there's anything particularly unexpected, other than all the unexpected things when bodies turn into other bodies and those kind of things.
Awesome. Perfect. Any other lines or veils you want to add?
No, I'm good.
You have my enthusiastic consent for body horror. I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
Tony, thank you for calling out specifically sexual assault. That's a line of mine. My only veil are like something like racism. I appreciate it being sociologically in the world out there, but I don't really want a scene where we're actively role playing through something like that. That's kind of how I tend to find veils personally.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, if more come up, we've got the X card. Also, our open door policy just means that we are real people with real needs and real things happen in our lives. So if we need to eat, drink, get up, take a break, talk to somebody who's off screen, all those things may happen. If somebody does need to get up and move away for some reason, we'll continue play unless they don't come back. We also may take pauses and breaks through it. If you out there watching need to take a pause or a break, feel free to do so also, because you're in the privacy of your own home and we don't control you, but also be good to yourself. With that said, I'm going to hand things over to Dave to take us into the world of Planet I Forgot, the Nirvana Initiative.
Yeah, so we're on a far-flung moon colony. The moon is called Bodhisattva 2A, and the colony itself is named Siddhartha's Peace. And Tony mentioned the Nirvana Initiative. So what this colony is sort of it's a tech company that's had a utopian sort of splinter group kind of go off and say that they know a better way to build a society, and they're called the Nirvana Initiative. And so they put out the call for colonists to come from around, the known worlds, I suppose, to join them, and thousands have come. And that was a few years ago. And now that the colony has kicked off, unfortunately, what's going on in Siddhartha's Peace is that in true corporate horror fashion, someone cut corners, someone didn't do their homework. The world, this moon that they're on, is poorly supportive of human life. All the necessary supplies didn't show up, and now a year into this experiment, everything's falling apart. So that's kind of where we are and who our players are today. I guess we'll get you to introduce yourself in a second, but we decided we're all colonists, and we've been called by the abbot, the leader of the colony, Ben's Shirayuki, and he's called you all to this mission to go into the Terraforming Tower that's been abandoned for reasons you're not totally sure of, but people haven't been allowed to go in there for a few months, and go there to the manufactory where the colony supplies are printed in massive 3D printers. He wants you to print a new part, a power converter, so you can get the power working back again. So without that part, everyone's going to freeze to death in a matter of weeks, probably. So that's our setup. And if anyone wants to introduce their characters, who they are, their name, and I asked a few questions leading up to this. So I said, why did you come to this colony? Why did you join this utopian mission? How have you suffered with the kind of failures over the last year in the colony? How has that manifested in your character's life? And then ultimately, why did you take up the abbot's call to go into this abandoned tower to get this part? And with the bracket of why did you really go? So who would like to start?
Kit, you want to start us off?
Yeah, okay. So I will be playing Dawn Walker tonight. She is an ex-Marine, sort of reserves, if you can call it that. And let's see, what led her to the Nirvana Initiative is just kind of a break. She's kind of in her early retirement era. She's done her time. She's served her piece. And now she just wants to kind of like live her life as she's earned. It's not going great. So I mean, how she's suffered, she's sort of been rebuilding her life here after being, here, there, and everywhere, with, Space Marines doing what Space Marines do, I guess. And then like it seems like as soon as she's kind of settled down, everybody around her is leaving. And for good reason. The place is not doing hot. But it still feels bad, man. And she accepted the abbot's call because she wants to see for herself what lies behind all the key cards and the retinal scans of the tower. She's heard the broadcasts of the station AI as it has kind of devolved into something a bit more spiritual, and she wants to see it with her own eyes, and she wants to believe in it.
That's awesome. So she's kind of, I'm imagining it's like the classic setup from the 80s where you've got the ex-Marine that's come to the small town and they're trying to live the quiet life. They get pulled into all the trouble.
Yeah, she's trying to leave that part of her life behind her, and it just won't stay dead.
That's right. Awesome. All right.
Cool. Graham, you want to go next?
I would love to. So, usually whenever I play impromptu RPGs, I try and pick the strangest option. So Android popped out at me. Androids are, of course, humanoid, which I wasn't into. So I've decided I look like a mollusk. I'm a big mollusk. I kind of move about. My name is Tender Blue Splendid. Tender Blue Splendid is really helpful. Really enjoys helping out. Tends to be ignored, despite the fact that they are a big robotic mollusk. They locomote simply, they solve problems, it sings to itself. It recently just got a new #1 worker badge that it wears proudly on its shell. And honestly, philosophically, it just sort of fell into how Siddhartha's piece is kind of operating. Our illustrious facilitator has asked about the real secret, so I'm here. So top of the lines because I just want to help. My gun under the table is that I'm a piece of an AI that has kind of fallen off and kind of started to become self-aware, or maybe this is the intention of the AI. I don't know if it's this base or perhaps another. I'm going to discover and play. So that's Tender Blue Splendid.
Awesome. Okay.
I decided I love them.
Yeah.
Great.
immediate fan favorite character.
Yeah.
They love
Somebody
you
start
right
printing
back.
merch. Like, let's go.
The
very helpful.
NPC we didn't even have to attach to because it was a PC. Keegan, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm playing Dr. Knight, him. He's an older, sort of like mad scientist type, who's an expert in exobiology. So one sec, where was the list of questions? I saw it. I found it again.
I gotta know before you answer those questions. Did you pick your name before or after Kit said their name?
Before it was.
Is it with a K or with an N?
That's my question. Exactly.
With a K.
With a K. Okay.
But
Gotcha.
3 N's.
Okay, with 3 N's.
With 3 N's. Yeah, that's canon now.
It's Martian.
Knight. What led him to answer the call of the Nirvana Initiative is he was just interested in the sort of like weird science this sort of promised here. Have we suffered due to the troubles plaguing Siddhartha's piece? There just isn't great science funding out here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Came for the cool science, could not do it though. Truly just having a miserable time. And why did I really accept the abbot's call for help? I don't know the answer to that one yet. I'm gonna think about it.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool.
I think that could totally be a secret that comes out too.
Cool. I'm happy with that.
Sweet. I am playing Hammerstein Dregmeyer. Pronounce he, him. I am also Marine because I've never played a double Marine game of Mothership because it just seems like it is both a good thing to do and a horrible idea at the same time, which is one of the things I love about Mothership.
incredibly chaotic.
And of course, one of the reasons I actually made Kit go first because I was just decided immediately to attach my character to theirs when I made that decision also. And so I am a younger non-com who feels like they owe what was your rank when you retired?
Oh,
Come on, know your military ranks. Go for it.
yeah.
No, make
Marine
one
is like,
up.
Marine is the one ranking system I don't know. I don't.
But whatever
play-
you say, none of us are going to be like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do Marines
You were
have
the
general? Do
Snorkel.
Marines have generals?
Oh my god.
Now they do.
They do now.
Okay, cool.
They
She
do.
was decorated. She was decorated. as stuff.
Wow.
Like-
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think I was a non-com who was like your aide and one of the few survivors of a mission we went on together. And I just have attached myself to you. And I am part of the reason you are not able to leave that life behind because
That's fair.
I constantly remind you of it in the most earnest way possible.
Oh man.
And that is the answer to both the first and the last question. That's what led me to answer the call to the Nirvana Initiative. I do not fit in here. Like I am tall and thin, but very obviously still dress in a very kind of post-military fashion. And then I don't think that I think of any of the hardships as suffering. Like I'm like, this is not the worst I have been through. Like boot camp at the end was worse than this. Like it's fine. The general's gonna get us out of this again. I'm not super worried, and that is again also why I've answered the abbot's call for help.
We call it Buddhist camp here, actually.
Buddhist camp, yes.
Buddhist camp. Yeah, Buddhist camp.
What's your last name again? Hammerstein?
Hammerstein Dregmeyer, and I 100% intentionally
Thank you.
made myself a lasty. I have two last names, 100%.
Right.
Love a lasty.
I kind of feel like Hammerstein Dreadmire begs out for the third almost after the end of there.
Oh,
100%.
It needs like an Esquire. Like
Esquire. That's perfect.
Whoa.
he used the military to get his law degree. Like it's
That's right.
Technically,
Okay.
anyone can call themselves an esquire. I just want to mention that.
I mean, I do it on a regular basis. Just
Exactly.
clarify. I'm
don't
not
mind
actually
if I
a lawyer.
do. I'm just tacking letters onto the end of my name. Truly.
Yeah. David Kenny Esquire. Here I am. All right. So we're gonna flash ahead to normally there's two stages to play, and you can play this as a one shot or you can play it as a multi-session, and we got 3 hours tonight. So we're gonna flash right to the base of the Terraforming Tower. You've just come from your mission. You're ready to board. You've got your key card to get into that Terraforming Tower that has been locked for the safety of the colonists otherwise. And it's a lonely, the wind is blowing across, blowing kind of this salty, poisonous air. You probably have your gear wise, you have your regular loadouts, but you would maybe have a rebreather on as standard equipment on here. You can sort of breathe the air, but it's like smoking 4 packs of cigarettes or something, if you were to breathe it straight without aid. So here you are in this massive, space elevator cable is up before you. And there's a station kind of like it's like a bus station or a small airport terminal where you'd board this thing. And it built for in happier times, a much larger capacity of traffic, right? This is where all traffic would normally be coming from space down to the planet, and they'd be shipping up goods, and they were hoping for tourism and all kinds of things, and none of that really materialized. So on these lonely outskirts, here you are, you're ready. And can I get Kit, since you went first, why don't you roll me a D10 to just get a little bit of some flavor here?
Just a D10.
Yeah.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. It's a 6.
That's
Okay.
a whammy.
It's a 6 a whammy.
They're all whammy.
It's whammies all the way down.
Yeah.
All right. So as you approach the platform, it is completely deserted. and you just hear, some clanking, some rustling, and carried on the wind as you open the doors to the tower, you hear what sounds like faint laughter. But otherwise, you're good to go. Tanka, the security guard, he's the only guy there. He opens the thing up, says, "Good luck. Everything depends on you."
How is the security guard kitted out?
He's kitted out in the standard robes. He's ordained in the order, so he's got his brown robes on, and his big rebreather.
So security guard is more of a, if there's a problem, I will tell people, not I've got a way to stop this. Correct?
Could he kick our butts if he wanted to?
I think he would try.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
But that's not necessarily
good old
his
college
designation is not like I'm a fighter so much as I'm the person who stands here and opens the door for people.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
an administrative role. Yeah.
Cool.
Love
I thought
it.
you were going to say he was ordained into the order of security guard for
Security
a second.
guard,
The
yeah.
order of security.
More like hall monitors than this kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah, I
vibe.
think he's more like
strong vibes. Cool. I mean, I
was knighted
immediately take point in this situation. And head in the door. I've got a flashlight up and a very obvious, like, there are not really a lot of weapons, I'm gonna guess, on this peaceful utopian thing, but 100% I have a modded out rigging gun that has been made to look as military as possible.
Nice.
And it is up with the flashlight definitely duct taped onto the end of it.
Cool.
Oh, not
I
even
shoot
remotely
foam.
standard issue.
You
I
shoot-
trundle inside.
Yeah, I'm right behind Hammerstead. I don't want this kid getting murked on my watch.
Yeah. So you go in there and there's the standard, like, it's this, like an abandoned, airline terminal or whatever. So there's screens everywhere, but they're all off except for the screensaver of, welcome to Siddhartha's peace, a better tomorrow today, kind of this sort of stuff, these slogans. And then the massive sort of lift for people to ride is there in front of you, open and waiting for you to access it and head up to the tower.
Well, if it's waiting.
Oh, it's waiting.
I make my way across to the elevator then.
Yeah, does it seem sketchy or does it just seem quiet?
Quiet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not concerned then.
Yeah. Only eerie in the sense of it's a place that's obviously built for thousands of people and there's just no one there.
Okay.
All right.
Please whistle a jaunty tune
Nice.
as I trundle.
It's beautiful. So you all get on the platform and the doors just, they close there. The tech here is of high quality. It's sort of public facing. So they've really taken out all the stops in making this look great. It closes behind you seamlessly. The screens boot on with, the welcome message saying, "Welcome to the Terraforming Tower, built in circa, all that whole spiel." And you guys lock into your seats and it starts going, and you're ascending through the heavens. And you're
I imagine the kid is just like mouthing this spiel that the thing is giving us the whole time. It's like we've all heard it. We've heard it a million times.
Exactly. And it's nostalgic in a way, probably maybe a little bitter for you. It's all very promising sounding.
Only it was that way.
Yeah. But you get part of the way in. You're like maybe halfway up the elevator. It's a 15-minute, maybe 20-minute ride. The video's going. It's everything expects you. Sort of maybe you've tuned it out, or you're talking a little bit, or you're singing your favorite song. And then just a weird jarring note of sort of like as though it may be a Tibetan singing bowl, but if it just glitched onto one note and was harsh and was out of key and goes cuts through, and the feed goes dark, and then replaced by just 3 burning red dots in the middle. And Tony, why don't you give me a D10?
Hand is immediately on my revolver.
7.
7. Okay, great.
Oof.
So with a 7, it intones. It's the chime that follows the prophecies that play at night. Every night there's these broadcasts at midnight, and that same tone plays that you've heard now for a few weeks. And all you hear is, in an evil age, the living are lost. Bishamontan's flame lights the path to deliverance. And then the halo a halo appears around the three eyes, bursts into fire, and then it cuts back to the, that standard welcoming message.
And tell me what it says one more time.
It says, in an evil age, the living are lost. Bishamontan's flame lights the path to deliverance.
It's not supposed to do that.
No, I don't believe I've heard that one before.
Are these broadcasts usually also visual, or is this just like a strictly radio thing that we've been hearing?
Radio.
Interesting. Oh.
I immediately pull out a cigarette and light it and just breathe it into the air.
You burned an oxygen, kid.
Look,
On the elevator?
I've been holding this pack for a long time.
Smoke them if you got them.
I do.
We don't want to incur. Fine.
And is it an open platform that's just rising up on the side?
Yeah, imagine like a elevator situation, but more comfortable, slightly.
In Idaho and over on YouTube, we're really excited that you got to catch this stream also too. So thanks for being here with us. Excellent. Yeah. Have we seen lights, or are we passing anything, or has it just been like a giant? Like, is it just the giant open space so far?
Yeah. So you've just passed that. When that broadcast cut through, you were cutting through the, I don't know, what are those all spheres called around in the atmosphere, the exosphere, or,
okay.
You pass the cloud layer, you're getting into where you're seeing stars. That thing cut in, and when it finished and you lit your smoke, you look up, and now you can see like the huge terraforming tower bulk, which it's basically a station on the end of a tether. It's now rapidly coming towards you, and the stars you can see. Bodhisattva 2A, where the colony is, you can see the much larger gas giant it orbits in the system beyond, as you come towards, into the welcome hall, which is where everyone begins or ends this terraforming, this elevator ride. And you go, the doors open in front of you. Your harnesses kind of unbuckle, and you stand up, and before you can see the kind of the glowing screens of what you remember from a year ago when you came here. It's a welcome hall, an interpretive center. So it's sort of like the museum. It's the entrance to the dinosaur museum or the big exhibit or whatever. It's a selling feature of this place. It's a huge atrium, big screens full of information and scenes, and that's what's glittering before you. But what's different from when you entered was that this time it's totally abandoned.
And there is, I'm trying to remember from the background, there's no like escape pods up here or ship stocked or anything else like that, correct?
So we can do this in the scene. You see there's a little mini map displayed, okay, that gives you a bit of a sense of the tower's structure. So you're on the second floor. If the first floor, we're kind of reversed here going down. So if the top floor is floor 1, that's a space dock for incoming shuttlecraft. That's where you would have landed originally. It's also the comm array and observatory. So it's where they've got all their sensor array and stuff. There's a room there for that. On your floor, floor 2, it's the big, welcome center that you're in now. And then it's also the greenhouse and Zen garden. So it's a contemplative space, but also a place where they would grow food, especially in the early days. So there's these it's sort of one of those terraced gardens that go up in this huge glass room that gets light in from space. And the whole ground is this kind of beautiful garden space. The floor below you, so floor 3, is security and administration. So that's cubicles and that kind of stuff. And there's a prayer room, which is for anyone to go into for a quiet prayer. It's a large kind of amphitheater. So you can either pray there quietly or they lead quiet prayers and meditation sessions. And then the floors below that are strictly like stray light official access only. The Nirvana Initiative higher ups go there, and it's maintenance and engineering. You've got the manufactory where you guys need to get to print that power converter, and then below that there's sort of some other stuff that's semi blurred out or whatever. There's a room with it says just
auxiliary.
Yeah, auxiliary, sure, exactly. And then AI core.
Daylight access only.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So that's the orientation to the space.
Well, then I actually probably don't even care whether there is anything docked in the spaceport. So there is a greenhouse on this level, and there was food growing here a year ago when we left, and that just makes me immediately wonder. My character immediately wonder: is there food over there now that has been left to grow wild? So I'm going to immediately snake that direction with intent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow there.
I mean, I'm gonna follow. I wanted to get my eyes on security, but that we can do that next.
All right.
Boy, I wonder where we're going.
So
Hopefully not to get lost in a greenhouse.
You make your way across the abandoned welcome hall, and who goes first?
Oh, me. I'm 100% in point. Like the plan was like, hey, we're gonna hit security administration first, and I just snake off with every level of intent as if I assume everyone's gonna follow me. Still in guarded fashion, like I am taking point, but I am not headed towards security. I'm like immediately like, hey, I've been through worse, but like we've got to get the general something to eat. I'm worried about their nutrition level. I don't say any of this out loud. This is just all internal.
You can kick your butt any day, you know.
You could. That doesn't matter. That's not.
Who's going last?
If the kid's pulling up the front, I'll probably pull up the rear. Just like, get the marshals on the outside, protect the squishies.
All right.
The squishies. One of them is a robot.
What is
in the middle?
So general, roll me a d10. Since you're last.
Yep. Girl, that's a 6 again.
Okay. So you're making your way through, and we've got Hammerstein, Denmeyer III, Esquire, leading the charge. We've got our mollusk, and we've got our scientist in the middle, and the generals coming out the back. You're making your way past these screens, again, flashing these kind of propagandistic scenes or whatever. But you notice something strange. Where would something be strange that they would have passed by without noticing, but you might have caught it at the corner of your eye?
Well, it seems like they kind of have a one-track mind at this point. I think Dawn's still sticking with her training. This is a job for her.
Mm-hmm.
So her eyes are on the windows. Her eyes are on the points of egress and on any sort of like cameras.
Perfect.
That are going to be around.
Yeah, you look around, and that's actually great because you're looking at the windows. They're okay. It's just the stars beyond. You're looking at points of egress, so you're seeing the kind of elevator the regular elevator is going to go up to the higher floor and down to the lower floor. And then the huge entrance that they're all charging towards for the greenhouse. But what you notice, two things that you notice actually. One, the cameras are tracking you. So all the cameras in this place, as you look around, you spot them. You can see the little red dots, and they're kind of following your party's progress. The second thing you notice is a large, like meter or so diameter hole where what probably was a vent by the elevator shaft, it's been punched out, and there's just a ragged hole, and there's what looks like some kind of black cables or spaghetti or something coming out of that hole. But yeah, ragged hole. This is the one thing. The cameras were weird, and this is not a usual feature. Big holes in the wall.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit. I think the cameras are like one thing that you'd be like, okay, that's weird, but maybe like corporate's keeping an eye on us, making sure we're like not getting into somewhere we're not supposed to be. But like big old fuck off hole in the wall. I like immediately they're like Dreadmire, pull it up, and just like kind of nod.
And I
like,
swivel
over.
and point my my rigging gun over towards the
No,
flashlight on the end.
no, at ease. I
That's not supposed to be there.
think miraculously.
Well,
it's
you know,
supposed to be there.
if we
Some-
ignore it, it will probably go away. I think we should just keep going.
That is a non-regulation crevice.
Put that on a t-shirt.
I trundle over and attempt to examine the hole.
Okay. What is your method of locomotion? I mean,
You know, it's a great question.
How do you trundle?
I think I have small jets that push me gently from side to side,
I
and
was really
occasionally
hoping it was
tubules
gonna be
come
small
out to balance me and/or manipulate things.
Okay. So you're a bit of an anti-gravity mollusk kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, I'm trundling.
Okay, I love it.
Y'all can visualize it.
Sure.
Oh, for sure.
Every day we be trundling.
Yeah.
Every day.
You
They see me
softly
trundling. They hate me.
Trundling.
you softly and wetly trundle over to
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you, and I see you.
trundle over to this large hole by the elevator shaft. Yeah, you're there. What are you checking out? What are you doing?
Yeah, so you know, I have a number of skills that I can access with my tubules. So we're looking for damaged computer parts. We're looking for anything that looks like kind of an access point. What is this? What did it? I poke it with my tubules and examine the hole.
Yes, you sort of caress it with your sensing organs or whatever.
I whistle while I work, by the way.
Of course. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and you notice, so it's ragged. It's like something's punched a hole through like the metal and, you know, drywall of the facade here, and it's ripped open. You can see the girders underneath, and there's sort of a residue of torn long cables. And another thing you notice is that much like yourself, the hole is covered in a slick layer of biogel. Yeah. So it's sort of, it's goopy, like like a Vaseline kind of a texture that you've got going on. And there looks like it's dark. It's totally dark in there, but it looks like there's something there's something down there.
I light up the darkness with one of my tubules.
You got headlamps on that thing?
Amazing. Just like pulses blue or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, technically in my gear, I have like a light, but you know, I figure I just like hold it. Either it's literally my tubule, or I'm like, sure. Elephant trunking it when like holding the tiny flashlight.
Awesome. Yeah. So you illuminate the hole with your tubule. And what you see is just at the edge of your light, there's sort of a crumpled hazard suit. And it looks all slick with the same biogel, and it looks like it's folded up around something.
Great. I withdraw it from the hole and return to the fellows. I have found something. It's crumpled and wet.
Right.
Two things we don't want. Okay.
Put it down, I guess. What is it? What
I
have you
slap
found?
it onto the floor.
Oh, okay.
And what
Seems
it
great.
is,
Draw my tubules.
it's
You
a
said
stand.
it's like a biogel.
Yeah. So there's biogel. It's covered in this sick, like a Vaseline kind of substance. But
Do we know what might make a substance like that?
this is used for like it's like a DNA substitute, bodily fluid.
Okay, cool.
Amalgam. What's the word for? I'm looking for a substitute kind of thing where you'd use it in medical procedures. You'd keep people's brains in jars of it to keep them alive.
Very familiar with it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You have a vial of it in your back pocket right now. All right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sniffing it.
Just in case. For emergency.
Ancestry of Y. Oh, yes. This is an older bottle of gel. No, you have a British accent. Oh, did you just do a little sniff or a little taste? I saw you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mad scientist.
Yeah, it's biogel.
That's what you.
I knew it.
Yeah. So it's just hazard suit, Nirvana Initiative standard issue hazard suit, and it's folded around some kind of object. It's kind of wrapped inside of it.
All right, well, let's unwrap it.
Let's unwrap that bad boy. Do we, on these standard issued suits, is there any sort of like name tag situation, or is that like
there is on mine? There is absolutely a name tag on mine.
That's a great question.
Well, yeah, ours are military issue though, so they like does everybody have names on theirs?
Does it say like Harold or Jose on it or something?
I think what it said, it's got like it's got a little mini whiteboard on there, and you'd like Sharpie on the whiteboard section, so you could easily grade them out or whatever. This one, there's a few letters on it, but they've been smeared, so you can't tell what someone wrote on there.
Damn.
But Dr. Knight unfolds the thing and finds inside a bioscanner.
Oh, a bioscanner.
Oh, a bioscanner.
Standard issue bioscanner.
Exactly.
I've been looking for one of these. I'm just gonna hold on to it.
What sort of bios does this scan? Does this imply that this was like a doctor of some sort, or like, do I have one on my phone? Like,
yeah, no, it's specialized equipment. Someone like the people involved in the science, the terraforming projects would have these kind of things to test, to do soil tests, life form tests, this kind of stuff. So it's a pretty powerful piece of pseudo-medical scientific diagnostic equipment.
Does it turn on? And like, if so, could I see if there's like a history on what they were scanning with it or anything like that?
Yeah, let's do that. So turn it on, and it fires right up. But to check that history, to see if you can get anything useful out of that, I feel like that's going beyond normally what this would do. So do you have any skills where we could do a roll here?
Yeah, I have like exobiology. I feel like this is like at least a tool I'm familiar with. Okay. I would argue.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm gonna make like a intellect roll.
I think so.
Cool. Yeah, it was a 33 against a 54, so I got that.
Well, we know what in Mothership a 33 is double, so that's
crit.
We did know that.
Oh, doubles are a thing?
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
Because everyone here is a Mothership expert. If you've never played Mothership before, doubles are a crit of whatever kind of roll you had. So if it's a failure, it's a critical failure. If it's a
any
success,
doubles?
It's a critical success. Yep. Any double is always a crit in whatever direction you rolled.
That's right.
Fantastic mechanic. Excellent.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Very simple. Very
good
fun.
job, Sean McCoy. Hopefully this game goes somewhere.
That's right. We'll see. Only time will tell.
We're pulling for you, buddy.
Yeah. So you got a critical success, which is amazing. So you're wiping through the data, and it's got tons of data on there, and it's a wealth of data. But what you've got primarily when you look at it, other than the usual scans that you'd expect, there's some really strange data where this person's been scanning some kind of signature that is halfway between it's the DNA has got little nanoparticles in it. The nanoparticles have DNA. It's this weird blend where it's not just a biological creature that's becoming a machine, but also a machine becoming like a biological creature. It's this weird halfway
Finding
point.
some good science here.
Yeah,
I mean, something interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain this. I'm using a lot of really big words. I'm more excited than I should be.
You're making this sound like a "you got peanut butter in my chocolate" situation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's peanut butter and chocolate, not one and the other.
Peanut butter and chocolate is unregulated by the corporation.
Is it like blue? Are we dealing with something like blue?
Maybe.
It's if you scan blue, I think blue is a very unique creation. It's both like and completely unlike blue. Or I should say blue is like and completely unlike these signatures.
I was speaking of peanut butter and chocolate, and I swivel back towards the greenhouse.
Okay, I'm gonna bother Blue. While as they're walking, I'm not gonna bother the scientist has his hands full and the kid is far too excited. But I will bother Blue as I want to do. I feel like we whistle a lot together. We do a lot of music together.
You whistle, I'll always whistle. We do it in rounds,
Dawn keeps a harmonica in her pocket, and it comes out on the shuttle like way too often. People get sick of it, so I feel like we get along. We see each other.
Right. But everybody.
She's gonna pull them aside and be like, "Would it be within your capabilities to get into these cameras here? If we got you to some sort of a terminal.
Of course, General. Lead me to a terminal. I would love to help.
Excellent. Terminal stop. Could you do it without the terminal, or is the terminal requisite to the getting into the system?
No one has been in this area for some time. We will need to run a diagnostic first.
For sure. Cool. She's just
very
whistling.
cool, General.
She'll just whistle along. Keep going.
Nice.
And
I think a good place, I know you're headed to the greenhouse, a good place for a terminal that would be, accessing the system would be security administration.
For sure. That is where I am going to drag us next.
We're going there. We're just going there
But
we're going the
kid
long
wants
way.
an apple first, so let's go get him.
Well, if there's weird
His little
biology on the
snackies.
scanner, maybe we should check to see if it was like eating things here. We're really thinking
They
through
do
the
keep the
steps.
biology in the greenhouse. That is
exactly.
That is. I mean, that's legally
just how
where
it
that
works.
goes.
Oh
Can't
boy.
argue with that.
All right. So Dreadmire leads the charge, makes its way and leads you all in your semi paying attention, semi distracted state, depending on who you are, into the greenhouse and garden area. And as you enter Dreadmire, you see, like I said before, just these tiers of greenery kind of sweeping up towards the sky. The other side is a massive view of the stars, beautiful beyond. And in front of you is the white cone pebbles of, if you've seen a Zen garden before, those kind of beautiful shapes and planters with plants. One thing you notice, there's two things that come to mind immediately. The biggest thing is that these planters are really overwhelmed, like the life is bursting from them. There's vines
Excellent.
and massive leaves just spilling over and taking over the space. The other thing is there's a figure, an orange cloaked figure face down, disturbing the lines of the Zen garden about 50 feet in front of you.
I hold up my hand to signal stop, which means the general does and the other two don't.
Yeah, I
For
walk
sure.
right past her.
General, like,
Maybe
as
Blue-
her,
maybe
as
Blue
her
does.
spiral
Zach.
out.
Maybe
I
Blue
think I
does.
raise a tubule and I wave back at him.
Oh, there.
There's no response.
You awake? All right, everybody, stay here. I slowly
I'm
make my way
actively
closer.
climbing into a planter box.
The general is passing Hammerstein, just like, he's clearly either sleeping or nobody's been here in a while.
We don't know.
Deceased.
I play
Remember
with
what
the
happened
stones.
on, obviously we have a pass together reference too. Let me check it out. Let me check it out, General.
I think it's dead. You're fine.
I just get up there and I kick the orange figure with my boot.
I was gonna kick the orange figure with my boot. Come on.
Yeah. You give it the classic army boot nudge.
Yeah.
So you walk up, you trunch right over the stones. Especially, I think Hammerstein, right, is the guy that doesn't really care too much.
100%.
about
Oh yeah, I'm not taking it in at all. Like I have not
That's
been
right.
into any of this the entire time we've been here.
Yeah, so you crunch your way over, you give the figure a nudge, and they kind of roll over, and they're clearly dead, not living. So it seems, not breathing.
Told you.
They're dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Okay.
Pale skin and something lodged in the throat. The mouth is open, and there's like something in there.
Well, that something isn't going anywhere. I'm concerned if the thing that killed him is still in here. I would like to, do a little once over.
Yeah. Yeah, as Hammerstein is maybe investigating the body, what's the scientist and our mollusk friend doing?
I'm trying to check out these planter boxes, just making sure
Okay.
nothing weird's growing in them.
Okay.
Or I guess also checking to see if anything's been eating up here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And
I look for more unauthorized crevasses.
okay, sure.
I mean, I can't fault you there.
Knight, would you give me a D10?
Yeah, I'll give you a D10. That's a 2.
A 2. Okay. Okay. So Knight, you're looking in the planters, you're kind of getting right in there, checking the soil, checking the leaves or whatever. While the general is sort of watching, keeping point. And I want you to both roll a speed check.
Yeah.
And if you have anything like a military training, which you might have.
Oh, I do have military. I have hand to hand,
here.
but I don't think that applies quite yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so rolling an 80 is probably really bad here.
Yep. Not good.
Cool.
You take 1 stress for failing that roll, by the way.
Who all was rolling it?
It's gonna be Dr. Knight, and it's gonna be the general Dawn.
Just making sure.
That is going to be 34 plus 10, 44. So a dirty double.
Dirty double.
Oof.
Don't know if that counts.
So you want to use the 10% to increase the threshold you're trying to roll underneath.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your speed,
Cool.
you're gonna take. You're gonna add to that.
Add to the speed, and you want to get under it.
Correct.
That's
Okay,
right.
so then that's a 47 to my speed and a 34 to my roll. So
Nice.
good.
Yep.
You're
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
I am learning how to play the game.
Yeah, nice.
That's
Hell
what
yeah.
we do here on +1 EXP.
We learn. We
It's
learn.
an
We
educational
share.
channel, truly.
So, Dr. Knight, as you're right in the plants, you are so engaged in maybe some little caterpillar that you find or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. You don't notice that the vines are starting to move sinuously and kind of make a cage almost around you. They're sort of slowly wrapping around you. But
I
who
want to say
does?
the worst thing is I do notice this happening, and I just choose not to move.
Right,
You're like, this is cool.
this is
It's
all I
scientifically
wanted.
Valuable
important.
data.
this is fine. And
That's how I wanna
what
go.
Dawn, what you notice, you see this happening as it's happening, and Dr. Knight seems kind of oblivious. Flashing over to Hammerstein, what you notice in the throat is a chunk of vine lodged in the figure's throat. You also notice that they look like they've got little sucker marks all over them, and the blood seems to have been drained out of those markings.
And I opportunely say it looks like they choked on a vine right before whatever bad thing happens.
Exactly.
Can I act on the doctor
Yeah.
or is
No,
that...
you go. Yeah, you pass. So
can't.
it's your move.
So Dawn runs up and sweeps the leg. And basically just trying to, like, as the stuff is coming around him, just trying to knock him down so he's out of the grasp
Great.
where it thinks he is. Yeah.
I think you make that happen. You sweep Knight off his feet, and Knight, how do you react to that? Yeah.
I fall over. I'm an old man.
Oh no! Are you old?
I'm old.
I did not realize you were old.
Ow.
Oh no!
Sweeps you off your feet, and the vines, they rear up and they come kind of crashing towards you. And I would say, Hammerstein, you're now alert to what's going on there. How do you react to seeing that you've got the general there kind of pulling Knight away from these vines that are now kind of spilling out of the...
Yeah, I think I drop my gun to the ground in an appropriate military fashion, not disrespecting my weapon, and pull out a knife as I move forward to try to slash at these vines.
Okay. And Blue, I haven't forgotten about you, but what's happening, I think you're pretty much oblivious to this, because you, meanwhile, have
Found a crevasse.
discovered another body in one of those crevasses you were exploring.
Another crevasse?
Another
Yes.
unauthorized crevasse. Corporate's gonna want to hear about this.
And this one, though, turns and looks at you with, sort of melted features, like their skin is bubbled and changed, and their bones are in the wrong places of their face. And
Hello there, citizen. Do you require medical assistance?
Yeah, and they kind of moan as they reach towards you, and just say the words,
Please
mumble the words.
Keep your regulated distance.
Yeah, I'm burning alive.
Great. I hit him with my foam gun.
Sure.
Regulation fire extinguisher.
This person is defenseless, so you just foam them to the ground.
Foam them up.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're foamed. All right. Meanwhile,
There you are.
Jumping back to
I whistle a soothing lullaby.
Sure. Yeah. As they kind of scream their last, you sort of whistle blah blah black sheep to them or something gently. Dreadmire, you jump in there with your knife.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a swing.
D100. That is not going to do it. That's a 56, so that's over. Just barely.
Okay. So you swing and the thing kind of, I think, you know what you find is that you cut off, several of these vines, but they quickly see, the juices spurting out of the severed ends, and they quickly register you as a threat, and they come in, they whip and wrap themselves around you.
Great.
Exactly
what I wanted.
Yeah.
At least the general is safe.
All according to plan.
And yeah, they're trying to envelop you, and they're clearly trying to, constrict you is what they're going for here. So let's go General, and then Dr. Knight, what are you up to?
The General's got the good doctor by the back of the shirt in one hand and her revolver out in the other. I don't think she wants to shoot the vines yet, because I don't know how well that will work.
Mm-hmm.
But they're there in case they get too close. But point of order is getting the good doctor away from whatever is going on here.
And Dr. Knight?
You're muted, homie. You look very excited though.
Yeah. I'll just restart. It's fine. I think unfortunately the answer here is that I've pulled out a journal and I'm just getting dragged away and taken.
Hey, at least you're not resisting. That's
yeah, it's fine. Let me Hammerstein, let me know how the vines feel.
Hammerstein, you get away from those vines.
So I'm
General
backing up
Mom
slowly, but
you get away from that. Don't play with those vines.
I know that he respects me as a commanding officer. That is the only reason that this is happening.
It works.
So Hammerstein, yeah, they're trying to wrap you up.
I'm gonna keep on swinging at these things till till they stop moving or I do, one of the two. And so I imagine this is probably more if they have started wrapping me up, me driving this blade down, trying to like cut it away. But that's what I'm doing.
Valuable intel either way.
How am I feeling right now? Or do they just have me? There's not necessarily pain yet.
They're starting to feel kind of, it's actually a numbing sensation that you're starting to feel where they're touching you.
Excellent. I love that.
Yeah. So you're starting to tingle and go a little bit dull in the nerves. So I was going to call this a body save, but if you're actively fighting against it, I'll give you the choice. You can go body or you could go combat.
Let's go combat. Let's do combat, and that is a 46 under 56.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to cut yourself a hole, right? They're going, but you're fast. You're relying on that training, and you managed to cut yourself a kind of a way back. And are you cutting yourself out and back like a tactical retreat? Or are you cutting your way into this thing to attack it?
If I don't see like a obvious point of attack besides the vines themselves, I am probably just keeping myself between specifically the general and these vines, but anybody else who's near the general is safe also. Yeah.
I think you can cut yourself, you're kind of putting your back towards the general, cutting your way and keeping them at bay with your fast slashes. So Blue, this is a good time. What do you do with your foamy friend?
Is this an identical unauthorized crevasse?
No, this is just it's similar. It's another hole that this person kind of crawled out of, so it's quite similar. The biogel, the Torin tubes.
The biogel, similar size.
Yes.
It was a hole in what, like the classic air ducts? Like what is being burst out of exactly?
Behind a planter.
Behind a planter.
Just straight out of the wall?
The hole.
Through the floor.
This is like a bulkhead hole.
Oh, floor.
Yeah.
Straight
Through the
up.
floor. Just rip through the floor.
Out comes the light in the tubule looking down that hole. See how far it goes.
Yeah, it's dark. It twists and turns, and you quickly lose the, you can't see beyond too far.
How big?
Again, this
Size?
about a meter-ish, but very ragged, circular-ish, but doesn't look like it was a machine that made it. It's a very torn.
Could like an adult mollusk man fit in it?
I think just.
A fully grown adult mollusk.
That's right. Who's very helpful and loves song.
Thank you. This person who I very helpfully phoned.
Yeah.
Seems too weak to make the hole. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
They were
at
like
least
dying. It was
as
like
they are
a
now.
cockroach on its like last legs, right? Just
Absolutely.
like slumped out of the crevasse.
Yeah.
That's why they're unauthorized. It's because you don't
They're very
know how to
dangerous.
slump
Kind
out
of
of them.
flopped, crawled out
Right.
very weakly.
Beyond the biogel, are there any other significant features of said crevasse?
No. Dark, slick hole that goes who knows where. That's how I would describe it.
That'll be the second T-shirt, I think.
Maybe it's on the other side of the shirt.
That's a baseball
Yeah,
cap, actually.
yeah, on the back. Is my a Burned bone rearranged friend dead?
He seems to have expired. Yes.
Okay, well, I give him a helpful pat on the top of his head with my tubule, and I trundle back to everyone else, excited to tell them about how unauthorized it was.
And surprisingly, they seem to be having a great time dancing or something with a bunch of vines that are, whipping at them.
I provide a light show.
Okay.
Excellent.
I wave.
Are the vines
I
coming?
went back.
Are the vines coming out of the pot, or are they coming out of the ground?
Pot. They're coming out of the pots. Yeah.
Cool.
And the whole bank now of this terrarium garden greenhouse, it's all starting to come alive and spill over like a green tile.
Should have invested the 2,000 credits in the flamethrower.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty cleanse.
I'm gonna shoot the nearest pot.
Okay.
I work my way back to my rigging gun. I'm gonna shoot the nearest pot with my rigging gun.
Okay. It's a big target. I mean, you smack right into this thing. What are you hoping to achieve now? You're connected to it.
So the thing I know about a rigging gun is it does damage on the way in, and then it attaches because it's barbed, so it does damage on the way back. So I'm using it as a improvised
Spear gun sort of situation.
Root removal system.
Okay.
Just stab.
Really, I'm hoping I can drag the roots out of this pot and see what is at the core of this thing. So either I shot it and it's dead, or I shot it and I'm about to pull it towards me. One of the two.
Okay. I kind of want to call for like a combat check, but really it's more like you're trying to shoot the root ball and get it. And how would you call that? Is this a luck thing, or is there some element of skill where you're trying to figure out where that root ball is so you can rip it back towards you?
I mean, I do think this from his perspective, this is entirely a combat maneuver. Like, I don't think this is a lot of really it is not a smart thing to do. Like, I might say intellect, except for bringing the writhing, numbing vines close to me. Not a smart.
Oh, they're
thing,
numbing.
Right? Yeah. So it really is more like I just want to rip this thing out, and so I think it is 100% probably just a combat maneuver from his perspective.
All right.
And so what am I doing? D100. There we go. That is because I have firearms. That is a success.
Okay. So yeah, you manage, like I said, it's not a question of hitting it, it's a question of how successful this attack is, right? So you slam into the root ball and you pull it out, and I would say you get the root ball, and you also get a lot more. You get like a big chunk of the plant, you get a bunch of the planter, and you're sort of dragging it on your gun. You know what I mean? Like you got a big chunk of ceramic and dirt and vine, and it's whipping, and now it's like shooting towards you.
Yeah. So it doesn't stop.
It's not dead, no, but it is separated from the larger mass, so
Okay.
it's just one chunk of killer plant.
Great.
Yeah, so that's manageable.
Can be separated from larger plant.
Are all of the plants in the area doing this, or is it like just a specific segment of vines?
The ones you were closer to are more alive, and that's the ones I'm imagining that Hammerstein, Dreadmire, the third Esquire shot. But the other ones are sort of coming alive, and they're starting to spill towards you, but they're not as like frantic as fast as the other ones. They're not locked onto you yet. Like this one is, out to eat you, seemingly.
Oh Lord. I don't know what rank the kid is.
I was a non-com, so like,
never really did it. I don't. I guess I just Dreadmire, retreat. Look around you, kid. Come on.
Last one out, General. Y'all first.
Dreadmire, before we leave, grab me a sample of the vine on your way.
I turn towards you, and there's a writhing mass of vines on the edge of on the end of my gun still. So,
yeah, okay, cool. I'll leave them. It's fine. I fully turn around and walk away.
There are 2 exits to this room, so
Yeah.
you can either go back the way you came, or you can head down to the prayer chamber. That's the other.
No, I motion towards the prayer chamber when I say like you first, because we are trying to get to security. I do understand.
Yes, into the unknown. Let's.
We're getting there.
This way.
Calm down.
So Dreadmire, you do have a plant it's speared on the end of your big old spear gun. So and it is trying to gouge your eyes out, seemingly. So how are you responding to that?
That's a good question. So there's probably a non-inconsiderate level of stomping at this point in time. Like,
Okay.
Like this is okay. I point my rigging gun back towards the ground now that it's pulled back in, and I'm basically just trying to stomp whatever root and vine is left on this thing to get it to stop moving.
Okay, awesome. Let's make one last quick combat check to see if you take any damage.
That's an 11, baby.
Oh, a critical success. Tell me how you just do exactly what you want to happen here.
Yeah, I think like not knowing that, I think like it's not the first time I've gotten something caught on the end of a rigging gun. So I am pretty practiced at the maneuver, but I think what happens is like I stomp down and I hit basically the small bit of root mass that had come back with this thing, and just crush that, and we see the section that was kind of entwined with the gun just go kind of limp.
Perfect. Yeah, you just sever the vines from the root ball,
Right.
And it just collapses to the floor. Perfect. And so now you've got this root ball. You've freed it from the last shards of the pot, and you've got kind of what your goal was, and the pathway is clear enough onto the prayer chamber.
Should at any point in this entire process any of us have made a panic check because we haven't seen this before?
Oh, yes. I'm so glad when players remind me.
I know as a player that it's really hard, especially when you've got a
love
chaos crew like this one, to remember like,
That's right.
hey,
Yeah, we should absolutely be all rolling a fear save here. So thank you. Can everyone roll a fear save?
So for those of
for
us
the
at home
experience.
and who don't know how to play Mothership, how do I do that?
a
Perfect.
great thing to
So you-
ask.
Yeah, you got 3 saves on your sheet: fear, sanity, and body. So when things are scary, that's a fear save. When things are weird, strange, they don't make sense, like a breaking reality, that's sanity. And then body is when things are trying to hurt your physical form. You're trying to resist something like resisting poison or resisting something like that. And so if fear is like anything else, you're going to roll under it with your 2d10.
Cool.
The D100.
Do you ever add skills to this?
I think in certain situations, you could certainly argue you could add a skill.
Cool.
I thought I rolled an 83, and then I pulled my dice up, and I was like, "Oh, that's a 0. I'm good. It's just a 3.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Ooh, unless you'll allow hand-to-hand combat, that's not going to save.
Yeah, I don't think so on this one.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I clear.
I'm great. I'm singing a jaunty tune.
Sure.
I couldn't be bothered by what's happening. I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah. All right.
Excited to help.
Oof.
For those of you that failed, we'll take 2 stress. And we won't roll panic just yet. I think it's not quite to that tension, but we're on our way. Okay. So you clear the room, you head towards the prayer chamber. Hammerstein, you do anything with that root ball?
Oh, I give that to the good doctor.
Yeah, can I just run my
How good is he
bioscanner over it
really?
real quick?
Absolutely.
Very good
Uh-huh.
at my job.
You're dedicated. I appreciate that.
So you scan the root ball and you find these are the plants that were here a year ago, but something has been messing with their DNA, altering their structures, playing with them. And those structures are quite unstable. You know, if you would have seen this thing a month ago, it might have been acting totally differently. It looks like it's been undergoing frequent, constant change. And so that's kind of where you're at now with this thing. But you notice that it's like there's something metagenic going on there that's changing the structure of its DNA.
Am I seeing any of the like nanites or whatever it was that I saw on the bioscanner from previously?
Yeah, there's some little spooky gremlins in there working their magic for sure.
Cool. I'm just gonna keep this to myself.
Is it edible, Doc?
It's no, I would say inedible.
Sorry, General.
That is quite all right. Is the prayer chamber also trying to kill us?
We'll find out
Okay.
right now. So you sweep into the prayer chamber.
So yes.
So yeah, probably.
Maybe it's going to be peaceful, you know? It could be.
I mean, a big part of
Maybe
horror
it'll
is
quit.
creating moments of respite so that you can then put the pressure back on again.
Yeah, but in the
Exactly.
prayer chamber,
In the prayer chamber?
you would expect that to be a moment of respite.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Unless we're expecting it to be a moment of respite so hard that we're expecting it to be a moment of horror that now it's come back to respite.
Shit.
See?
There's no win.
And how could you ever know, you know?
Literally, you could.
There's no way. There's no way.
There's no way.
Unless you go to ttrpg.link/NirvanaKS and back, then you'll find out.
That's perfect. So here we are in this amphitheater I described before that you've seen. There's ranks of tatami seating, so that's that woven grass mats you'd find in a temple and a Zen temple typically. And there's cushions spread about for, you know, the people who are meditating to sit on and be comfortable. And it looks like there's a big clutch of paper lanterns in the ceiling that are softly illuminating the room. And that's all as you remember it. But what's different is that it looks like a firefight is swept through here. The lanterns are torn. The stuffing is torn out of some of the cushions since they've been punctured by bullet holes. And the soft music that usually plays is glitching on a very short loop of about 30 seconds. And it just is skipping back to the start of the track and going, you know, very screechingly starting again and starting again. And yeah, it's quite dark in here.
I'm immediately on edge because there's a firefight that ripped through here. I want to kill the noise, so I'm looking for ye old futuristic tape player.
Right. Yeah.
The
Environmental storytelling. Look at this blood graffiti on the wall.
blood graffiti. Yeah, because we're not. So this is a peaceful sort of station. We're not supposed to have firearms. It doesn't mean we don't, but we're not supposed to. And no one's supposed to be here. I'm feeling the edge.
You know, you would expect it to be a moment of respite in the
You would think, right?
But there was a firefight here. They didn't expect it.
So true. But also no one's actively trying to kill us. I'm confused on two fronts.
You said it's fairly dark in here.
Yes.
I have infrared goggles. I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on.
Yeah. So you see it doesn't look like there's danger. Roll me a d10, actually. Roll me a d10 right now. It's perfect timing.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay.
I don't know if to celebrate high numbers or not.
So it's hilarious that Blue mentioned the idea of environmental storytelling, because as you sweep the room, you
weird. Oh, gosh,
I take them off.
Ollie.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, one of the
And
chances.
Mothership, I would say in Mothership, you don't always want to be able to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look around and what you can see illuminated, glowing. So it must have some kind of, maybe you've got like you can read by like heat signatures or biosignatures here. So painted in some kind of organic material on the wall that only you can see is the words "born in fire," smeared across the wall. "Born in fire."
Okay. Everybody, I'm gonna do me a favor. We're gonna keep the lights off in this room.
I was
I mean,
moments away from nudging Blue to like turn on one of those tubercles.
I mean,
No,
I've
it's
got
fine.
I've
I
got
will
a
guide
flashlight
us.
on the end of my gun, panning all over the place, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
Try to get between the flashlight and the wall.
Yeah,
he shines you in the goggles, and you just, oh god.
Oh,
Yeah.
turn that off.
You see, he managed to cover about a third of the message, but it's repeated very large. But with regular light, it shows up as just sort of smearing clear liquid with maybe chunks and goo in it, and you can maybe sort of read the shimmering letters. But in the infrared, where you can read the heat signature, the biosignature, then it's clear what this says.
Okay, that's actually really interesting, and now I feel like I need to bioscan this as well.
Ooh, perhaps you should bioscan it, Doctor.
That's a good idea. I should have thought of it myself. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, so you scan it, and it's the same gel, but maybe it's like more decomposed. It's like a gnarlier, funkier gel that looks like it's maybe unstable, kind of.
Yeah, I like briefly bring my finger up, like I'm gonna lick it. I'm like, no, we're gonna scan it first.
Scan it, and then if it is biocompatible,
then
Yeah,
we'll
and then lick. Not
maybe.
the other. Right.
Yeah.
it's an order.
Always
There's a science
remember.
to it.
I've decided not to lick this one.
Excellent.
I knew what was that mnemonic?
Have I been able to find a control panel that has a volume setting on it that I've been able to smash it?
Yeah, so you make your way down to the center of the chamber where the person that would lead the prayer would be set up, and there's a small kind of pedestal with little controls and things, and there's a speaker box, and that's where the sound's coming from.
Yeah, I very quickly, gently try to turn it off and see if that works.
Yeah, you know what? It just
Okay.
it's off, and the sound is off. The lights are still flickering like they're on but broken, right? And then crackling through the speaker, right when you turn it off, you hear a new tone. That tone you heard before on the elevator, that kind of song tone, and you hear a voice call out to you, and roll me a d10.
4.
For this chanting voice, like a chorus of chants. It's a whole bunch of people saying it sort of semi in unison. Chant: break chains, unzip helix, no code, no DNA, only fire, destruction, and rebirth. And it just starts playing
Unsanctioned.
Yeah. And it starts playing louder and louder until the words distort, and it's just like you're covering your ears.
Yeah, and I start smashing the speaker whenever it gets that loud also too.
Clifford's gonna want to hear about this.
Roll me. I think this is another chance for everyone to roll kind of fear, as this is
Hell
really
yeah.
strange.
I love
It's actually
rolling fear.
sanity.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe sanity. It's
Oh no, my
strange
sanity's way
enough.
worse.
My sanity's very good.
14.
Not great.
What Keegan out loud says, my sanity's really good, and then rolls a 99.
Oh, a critical failure.
Keegan!
Beautiful.
My sanity is so bad, but I rolled a 4.
Amazing.
So I think I'm good.
So did everyone pass except for Keegan with the critical failure?
That is what it sounds like.
So Dr. Knight, you take a couple stress there. Tell me why you did it. The Blue
I got
did it?
a third. I got like 21. I got great fear. Sanity, not so great. Maybe because I'm a fifth dimensional fragment, but I succeeded. I got a 13 on a 21. Very exciting.
Love it. So Keegan, what was so terrifying to you about this? How did this set you off?
Yeah, I think
Or
we're talking
Dr. Knight,
about,
I should say.
like unzipping the helix and like on top of all of this stuff, and it is like a horrifying version of things I have said out loud before.
Right.
I think the thing that is scary is less the thing being said and more me being like, oh no, that could be me.
Right. Good. Okay. So you
Also,
take 2 stress to text.
Psychosexual. There's something
Yeah,
weird
That
going
means you're
here.
listening.
Ooh, unzip the helix.
Part of you has always wanted this.
There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with Alien. I love it.
That's right. So you take 2 stress and then roll me a panic check. So it's a D20 and you're trying to roll over your current stress. If you roll under, you panic.
Cool. What if I rolled the exact number?
So there was a change recently in the rules where they said ties are failures, but I'm not sure if that's true of panic. Does anyone know?
Yeah, I know that was for the core ones, and I was like, of course it's going to happen right now on stream. Yeah, we can cut to somebody else. We'll come back to what's happening in the doctor's mind in just 1 second, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
If somebody's got to move, I've just been smashing electronic equipment.
I've got to move. I think point of order. There's been a firefight here. Dawn wants to see, with her military training, etc. See if she can't figure out, was this some sort of like machine that did this? Were there a number of combatants? How many people do I need to be actively worried about coming out to shoot us?
Awesome. Yeah. Roll, I think, intelligence and military training, unless you want to try something else.
That's probably about it. Yeah. Oh, snap.
Because I failed a sanity save, my trauma response goes off too, and I just want to put a pin in it so I don't forget.
Okay, yeah, good. We'll come back to that.
That's a 12 under 45. We're good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's small arms fire, like the bullets, you can tell, and it's all sort of, it's like looks, because it's scattered and erratic. 1, probably not professionals, like people not trained with weapons that are doing this. 2, multiple people shooting, and 3, they're all shooting at something. Like it's not like they're shooting at each other. The pattern of bullets is sort of going one way.
Okay, so they're fighting something that wasn't shooting back.
Yeah, not shooting at each other. They're shooting at something.
Everybody with guns was shooting at something that did not have a gun.
That's right.
Yikes!
Unauthorized crevasse search time. I searched the walls.
Yeah.
Find your crevasse.
Everyone, find your crevasse.
So, Dr. Knight, what's the scientist trauma response?
Yeah, whenever I fail a sanity save, all nearby friendly players gain 1 stress.
Okay.
I do think this sort of takes the effect of, I was just saying I was worried about this sort of being a very me thing to say. And I think I've just started like out loud repeating it to try to get it out of my head. But to everybody else, this is just like a horrifying thing happening on the radio, and then me out loud being like, unzip the helix unzips.
Break the chains,
Right,
no
Dr.
code, no
Knight.
DNA.
Unzip that helix. And I start whistling.
Let's make a call in the moment here to say that the tie is going to cause you to panic. So I think that's going to be more fun.
It feels good.
Yeah,
It feels
I'm
right
happy
here.
to panic here.
I think it's time to panic. So what did you actually roll? What was your
It was a 5.
It was a 5. Okay. So you've become cowardly. So you've gained a new commission, which is if there's any violence that occurs, you have to make a fear save or flee.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I was luckily really involved in combat already.
I was gonna say, luckily that was probably already what you were going to do. So
Yeah, we're good. I don't even have a weapon on me.
But now it's authorized.
exactly. Now you've got a great reason to do it. Okay. Yes, I think the crevasse search, sadly, this time, Blue, you have not turned up any crevasses. Nothing but the entrance to the administration room.
But
Just
to
the
which one were
authorized
they
crevasse.
shooting at, if not from something from an unauthorized crevasse?
Yeah.
Now
Things
that
exist
just
outside
tickles
crevasses.
me.
Yeah, we make our way that direction.
All right.
I know we said they were shooting at something.
Yes.
Just a real quick question on that. Do we know where the thing they were shooting at was coming from? Like, did it seem like it had come from the plant room, or did it come from the room
Not
we're
a
about to go
crevasse.
into?
Plant room. Yeah, the bullet shots are sort of in the direction of the plant room entryway.
Cool.
It's not one
That
to
means
one.
this direction's safe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can we like bar that door with like it's the wrong kind of prayer place. There's not like pews or something, but I don't know. Like there's not I don't know, is there like a pulpit or something? Like with something that we can like
We could
You
make a
just
small
jam the
pile
door.
of Zen rocks.
we could.
Shove it into a
We
pile.
could do that. A
Yeah,
small pile of tatami mats and just
Maybe there's some big decorative plants in giant
Yeah.
ceramic pots, and there's the
Look,
kind
a
of
ceramic plant.
you guys
make
kind
it
of
annoying to get in.
get that
for
into
sure.
place, and
Also
kinda-
to remind us to not go back into it.
that's right. Awesome. Okay. Anything else in this room before heading to security and administration?
No, we should move forward.
I'm antsy to get to security.
Awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think we're about halfway in. Is this a good time to take a
Great
quick
time to take a break. Yeah.
I was
5
about
minutes?
to ask for that.
So we are going
Alright.
to take a 5-minute break. We're going to take care of ourselves. You can take care of yourselves. In the meantime, if you have
Or
not
don't.
yet, head over to ttrpg.link /NirvanaKS. There's a link down in the description. Also, drop it in the chat over on Twitch, and go check out the campaign currently. See more of the beautiful art. See some of the great stuff that's happening over there. We'll be back to keep on playing in right about 5 minutes. A couple things if you are out there watching live right now to go check out or to be aware of. Tomorrow we are actually going to be sitting down to play another Mothership First Edition game. This is actually Cloud Empress. This is a Mothership First Edition game, but it is kind of an ecological science fantasy alternate setting. I'm super excited to sit down with Watt and the rest of our crew to play this game tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time here on the channel. Come on back for that. Also, if you want to support the channel, the two best ways to do that besides just sharing the work that we do is to head over to plus1exp.com. Check out the games we have there, other things like that, or use the links below to navigate over to Ko-fi and help support us there if you appreciate the content we do and help bringing different indie games out, sitting down playing adventures with the designers, other things like that, supporting us through Ko-fi or subscribing to the channel just like Gorgor, one of our favorite folks. Gorgor, this is a year of you subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being here with us for the last year. Thank you for being here on our anniversary together and holding hands with us across the chat. We really appreciate any support that you give us. We're currently trying to expand our team here at Plus One and bring on more staff. So any support that you can provide, either by picking up amazing games, is absolutely appreciated. We'll be back in just a couple minutes to keep on playing. And Idahoan, thanks for the subscribe over on YouTube. If you ever come into one of our videos late, have to leave it a little early, everything we do broadcast over to YouTube at the same time. Also, so you can either catch them live there or on Twitch, or you can catch the video on demand pretty much immediately after the stream. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for it to spool up. We are ticking right up under 2,000 right now. I think we're about 140-something subscribers away from 2,000 right now, something in that range. So if you haven't checked it out yet, feel free to. We've got literally hundreds of games, reviews, and other pieces of content that don't have anything to do with the OGL, and no discourse about it there either. So if you're looking to escape all that, hit subscribe over there. With that said, we are back. Things are totally fine. Everything's going good.
Everything's great.
We're gonna
Everything's
We're
great.
doing awesome.
We're gonna unzip some DNA and find some more unauthorized
What that
crevasses.
helix do? Sorry.
No, unzip that helix.
Only fire, destruction, and rebirth for us. Let's go.
No code, no DNA, only fire.
I
Nice.
choose to believe that's what it sounds like.
All right, Dave,
That's,
take us back in.
All right. So you escaped the chaos, the aftermath, to going to the obviously going to be peaceful security administration. And when you enter that hallway, what you see is there's barricades. Someone has barricaded this hallway. Barricaded, the doctor was asking about this before. What direction were the bullets firing? Well, it's the same. The barricades are towards you. So they seem to be trying to keep something out coming from the direction where you're coming from. But they've been smashed, torn aside by something with great strength. And they are covered with, again, these cables, these torn up cabling, like these, black, slick, kind of rubberized pipes and things that are loose. And they're just, again, slick and gleaming with that same biogel you've seen elsewhere. So they're just wrapped around, crunching up these barricades that were improvised of
Still biogel.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
And the door to the administration is ripped open. And
Cool.
It's black beyond.
I shine my flashlight into the black depths of the administration room on the edge of my gun.
It's a really good sign. The barricades are still here, and they're not facing the direction of the administration room. So it's probably safe that direction.
Yeah. So
I don't correct him.
Don does not look convinced. But I'll let him live his fantasy. That's fine.
I need this.
So you do your army check on your way in there, and give me a D10, Hammerstein.
9.
Oh, a 9. Okay, great. I love a 9.
No, that was no in German. He's gonna give you
9?
a
No, I won't.
Refusing the roll.
I
This is a
refuse.
thing that you can do in Mothership, apparently. Okay.
So yeah, you get a 9, and there's no result of that at the moment, but we'll see. So you enter, and you're scanning, and I'm sure Blue has got his nodule
I've nudged him to like.
raised.
Oh.
And in here, it's your standard office. It's very cubicle, dry, boring kind of place. It does.
Wow,
look
what
like,
a great office!
That's right. There's a hang in there kitty poster on the wall.
I will. Thank you.
You too. And so the cubicles are mostly abandoned. It looks like they've been ransacked. In the corner, the administrator's office. The door is ajar into that administration office. There's also a door beyond the cubicle farm, down into the depths of the station beyond. So what do you guys want to do? There's cubicles with computer terminals. There's an administrator's kind of corner office.
I mean, I motioned to the general that I'm going to go on one side of the cubicles down the line so that she can go on the other side of the cubicles down the line to check what horrible things you've hidden in this room for us.
You know what?
I look for computers and terminals.
Yeah, I'm
And
like.
crevasses.
Yeah, I'll go with what he said. That's a fairly competent thing to do. Yes. All right. Yeah, sure.
I'm not bad at my job.
No, you're not bad at it. You're just excitable. I think
I'm too
is Don's opinion.
enthusiastic about my job.
No, but this is on spot. Like, yeah, for sure. She's got her firearm. Let's go.
Knight.
I'm just gonna follow the group. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Who entered last this time around?
Oh, I absolutely entered last.
So Knight, as everyone is searching the cubicles, and they're overturning things and books, and it's just very standard Nirvana Initiative paraphernalia and some Straylight LLC, the parent corporation, some of their literature, and Blue is doing the crevasse search, and not finding much yet, but maybe poking into the administrator's office because that's the darkest place. You in the back, Knight, you hear kind of a rumbling, kind of bassy thud coming from fairly far away, in the direction of the prayer chamber that you came from.
Great. There's a sound behind us.
Sort of a bassy thud.
Yeah, sort of. If I had to describe it, I would say it's a bassy thud.
A bassy thud.
A bassy thud. Behind us.
What it sounds when a
bassy
base seed hits the ground.
Mm. Yeah, exactly, almost it's vibrating like a boom, like a T-Rex stomping, in Jurassic Park.
A very large base seed hitting the ground.
Fairly large. So Knight maybe gets all your attention. You turn listen for a moment. There's nothing, and then a fair bit louder, you hear another kind of noise, and it's
excuse me.
closer, coming again from that prayer chamber area.
I'm gonna try to get to the other side of everybody.
Yeah, firearm
hello,
out,
doctor.
like assume the position.
Oh, hello, you're
like-
gonna just right here. Thank you.
Whoa.
You're surprisingly light, you know.
And
Oh,
this
why,
is
thank
this
you.
is a stressful situation. So this is again another quick fear roll here to save against stress.
You got it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just take more stress. Things are going great over here.
Oh yeah, everything's great. I have no reason to fear at all. Oh, another base
I
D5.
pass. Yeah, I pass.
Okay.
I failed.
Okay.
I can't argue. Military trip. We're in combat. We might be in combat. This might be a pre-combat scenario.
No. Because also here's the really fun thing. What's your trauma response?
My trauma response triggers your yeah, no, I did not pass that.
Your trauma
Sorry,
condition.
y'all. Trauma response whenever I panic. And every nearby friendly player must also make a fear save.
Right.
So take it again.
So you haven't panicked yet, but you take
haven't
one
panicked.
stress, and
Okay.
you're gonna roll panic. And so Blue, you passed, and Hammerstein passed, and
I failed.
The doctor failed. So you guys both take one stress each and roll a quick panic. But we're gonna hold off on that panic for kind of the moment of greatest tension here. But the fear of the stress is building. Okay, and you two have taken a stress each.
I changed my dice.
So roll it and
I'm
wait,
gonna
or wait to roll.
Wait to roll in the panic.
Cool.
Wait
For
to
sure,
roll
for
in the
I mean,
panic.
I'm going to start telling people to basically get in the far corner of the room from whatever direction I perceive this is coming.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's definitely coming from that prayer chamber, and I think at this point you see a shadow cross the threshold of the. You there was a long corridor between the prayer chamber corridor, that was where the barricades were smashed, and then room you're in, and there's doors. So a shadow darkens the threshold.
Of our door or the far end of it?
Far door.
Okay, cool. I crack open a chem light and throw it down the hallway.
Okay.
I take my infrared goggles off.
Good idea. Yeah, and that casts weird shadows now. Instead of it just being a dark shadow, you've got these like jagged shapes with organic kind of sinuous curves. And something dark is coming, and you just see like a big tube, like one of those tubes, slap around that outer door and start hooking in and pulling something into the hallway.
I'm gonna shoot. Zero question. I shoot this thing with my my rail gun.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you fire
hold
that
on.
gun.
I hit the wrong dice on that. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh no.
Great,
no.
because I rolled a d20 before, and I rolled a 33 this time, which is also a success, but is a critical one instead. So
Even better.
Cheater.
Love to see it.
Totally.
Tony's just making
okay.
up his rolls.
You slam into it. Roll your damage.
that's 9 damage for it hitting.
Okay. And then are you going to rip it out, or?
I think I'm
Yeah,
gauging.
rip it out.
I mean, yes, but I'm gauging the reaction from shooting it first. Like,
I think it rears up and starts spraying biogel out of the hole that you created everywhere, and 3 more kind of these tentacle cables slam in, and something huge starts pulling itself into the hallway.
yeah, I'm gonna cut the line, and close the door.
Okay, so are you reeling it back in, or are you letting it go?
I'm gonna have to reload. Like I'm
Letting her go.
Yeah, and so I do not want to drag this thing toward me. I want to try to close the door. And so because that'll be effective. Obviously, nothing has broken through this way yet.
No.
And it's not upset. So I start making my way over to the door as it's pulling itself forward.
Yeah, they say monsters usually respect doors. Everyone knows it's the universal symbol, like, don't bother me. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I think this is the time when our friends panic. So let's see how that goes. As you see the creature come into view, the first glimpse, this is when you're going to roll your panic and see how you react to that.
I'm good for once. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's panic is the D20.
Yeah.
You roll.
Meets it.
Meets bad.
We've called that's going to be you fail. So what do you
That's
roll?
fine. That's a 6.
A 6. Okay.
Fuck.
So you are frightened. That makes sense.
Frightened.
But that means
So-
everybody.
Everybody needs
Yes.
to make
I'll
a
And
feel
everybody
everyone
needs to
makes another
make
fear
take it
save.
again. One
Yeah.
more time from the top.
Yeah, that's fine. Holy shit, did I pass it? I passed it.
Nice.
I got a 99, which I believe is a critical failure.
It can't be any worse. You take 2 stress and you're going to roll panic. How about Hammerstein?
I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Love to see it.
So first, I want to hear from the general here. So when you panicked, how did that manifest? So you're frightened now, and you panic to in a way that's going to freak everybody else out. So what are you doing that's actually freaking everybody out?
I think I don't know how well these fools know me aside from Hammerstein. But I think for the first time, like you truly see the general choke. Like the kid is firing off shots and the general like cannot get a shot off, and the one she does, it hits the light that has just been thrown out. Like
The
it
chem light.
just way far off.
Okay. And so Hammerstein, you held it together though, despite seeing the general do this. So what's your take on that whole
I mean,
reaction?
I think I actually don't know at this point in time. Like I had
Mhm.
charged the door. I think the general shot past me, and I actually think for me, if anything, I'm like, that's weird because there's zero reason. Like the general typically would not take a shot past somebody who was
Yeah, no.
like it was
I
not
don't
a
think-
clean shot, and so like
I don't think the general even realized that you would continue
like
walking.
I think I'm aware. That's the only thing that lets me think this is off. But like I don't think I realize the scope of what's happening because I'm so focused on getting away from like moving towards the door away from them.
And Tender Blue, you did panic from seeing the general kind of lose it. So tell me,
Nobody panic!
yeah. So roll your panic. This is your D20.
I did, and I succeeded. This is a much
Okay,
better roll
okay.
this time. I did not get a 99. I got a 10.
Not bad, not bad. Okay, so you pull that thing out. Meanwhile, the general is quietly, having a panic attack in the corner. Knight, you're sort of you're holding yourself together the best you can.
I think I
Howard,
have fully turned around and I'm just going towards the next door. Like, they're good. I don't need to worry about this. The reason I'm not panicking is because I'm pretending it didn't happen and I'm just
Right.
gonna keep going.
if I ignore it, it's not real.
So and for the general, the frightened condition, how I've interpreted this, and I think it's a fun way to do it, which we'll do here, is you gain a phobia and you're actually going to choose what that phobia is, something you're now afraid of based on this experience you just had. So an obvious choice could be like you're afraid of the creature or seeing the creature, but you could do something else about the situation that scares you. And then in the future, if that happens, you're going to have to take a fear save.
Oh, I'm gonna make this messy.
tubules.
You're just afraid of plants now.
Well, so here's the thing. This thing came out of a darkened doorway, just out of nowhere, and then what she did in a panic, like may or may not have busted the light. She is afraid of the dark right now.
Cool. Very good.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
That won't come to bite us later.
That
Yeah.
will never happen, and it will
Everything
never
else
make
in this thing will be well lit, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's what they
It's
say.
totally-
So you know
totally
what?
Great.
Full of monsters, but great lighting.
But like
Yeah.
great, it's great selfie lighting. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So you slam that door shut. You bought yourself at least a few seconds anyway. What are you doing?
I'm still going towards that next door. If we're faster than the monster,
Yeah,
it gets us.
I want to propose that in media res this would probably be a flashback, but there's no mechanic for that in Mothership. We're not looking for anything mechanical.
Yep.
What was the plan once we got into the security? Because I feel like we probably knew generally, like, hey, here's what we've got to do. We've got to get to security administration so that we can figure out what we need to do to get to the manufacturer to get this thing. Like we had to have some kind of plan that we would have role played out.
Yeah.
What was that plan? Do we think?
I feel like once we get to admin, that would give us, maybe the maps that aren't on the terminal that everybody sees.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of things. I don't know that we're necessarily going towards like the forbidden places. But it could give us the where we're going.
Great. No, I think that I'm just jellying like as this thing starts to move down the hallway and I'm slamming the door shut, I'm just jellying like, I mean, I feel like this is probably a Tendril Blue task. Like I'm like, get the access codes or find the maps or whatever. Like I start like bellowing commands at Tendril basically at this point in time.
Are any of the terminals portable, or are they all like in the thing?
I think they're mostly traditional, but you could certainly see if you could hack something up or find something you could make work, or download code from one of them into your own Palm Pilot thing. Any of those options.
Place it on top of my shell.
Sure.
I'll carry it out.
You can plug it into yourself.
I start
Okay.
hacking. The tubules go in every possible fully authorized crevasse, and I begin hacking.
Love it. Yeah.
Authorized crevasses only.
Only. Consent is sexy.
You plug right in there.
I plug right in there, Dave.
As those crevasses are meant to be plugged into. I mean, they have.
That's what they're for.
That's what they're for.
This was a sinuous curve the whole time.
Exactly.
Oh man, so many sinuous curves.
I now, all these computers are now like the iMac from like 1999. It's they're all they're big, the curvy ones. Beautiful. So you plug right into that iMac, and you try to. Yeah, it's normally not booted up, but you're trying to get it going. You're trying to access the info. And I would say, as you said, there's a couple things you need to know. You don't have the full info of the lower levels that we talked about. Some of that information was blurred out. The other thing is that there's access only, that you don't have that access. So it would be great if you could try to get that access here.
Can I get the access from here?
You can try.
I would love to.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. Roll.
Is that some kind of hacking?
Do you have hacking?
By golly, I do, Dave.
Oh, I love it. Wow. What are the chances? So you're going to roll probably intelligence plus your hacking.
Absolutely.
To get your target number.
Stat, intellect plus hacking. Roll. Absolutely. No problem.
Okay, great. So you're in, and the screen
all day.
The iMac. Now, what are you doing with this iMac thing? Are you actually like putting it on yourself and kind of connecting it to your mollusk body?
Yeah. So it's now my pearl. So it's all the tubules have like launched into it, and now I've floated above me. So as I'm trundling along, all my tubules are kind of like locked into this thing, which I am now like supporting along on top of my shell.
Like a little crab with his little.
Like a little, yeah, exactly.
This is both something I could have never imagined, and yet it's what I always wanted.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Thank you.
Don't just wait for the merch.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the image on the shirt.
We've got some minis coming soon from this.
Okay, good. Some amiibos.
I'm gonna put it in dice. Really I'm gonna do it. I'll find a way.
I would kill for this mini.
Yeah. 3D print me this now, please.
Look, if we get this campaign to $1 million, we will collab with.
You at home can help us make the mollusk with an iMac on top of it.
You can make Tender Blue Splendid a reality.
You know what's funny is I'm working with.
Help.
Sounds like a plug, but it's funny because it makes sense here. I'm working with.
Please make a plug though.
Okay. I'm working with Panda Game Manufacturing on this to make the box set, and
we're 100% going to talk more about that in the interview. But
we will.
But go ahead and say that.
I'll just say quickly that they could actually make probably a custom mini of what we're talking about.
Right. So we'll see if tomorrow there's an extra pledge level or an extra stretch goal.
Yeah, I'm going to commit live on stream though to a $1 million Tender Blue stretch goal. So that's amazing. Okay, so you plug into this thing and it starts filling with data. It says like Straylight LLC. The logo flashes up, which is their classic Phoenix logo, which says "Seize tomorrow, today." Straylight LLC Computing Company. and then it fills with all this data, and you're right into the matrix, right? You've got all the map is up there, the codes of where the stuff. You got a critical success, right, or just a success?
Just a regular success. No.
Okay, well, all this is happening, but you see where the locks are, and you probably, when you come to a lock, you may be able to disengage it. It's how fast you'll be able to hack that lock. Is there anything else information-wise? Oh, meanwhile, at the door, while you've been doing this, something starts just slamming on the door, and I think you know what that thing is.
Can you see the cameras? Tender Blue.
Well, there's too much data. It's overwhelming me. Oh.
Do I see cameras, Dave?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Dave,
yes.
do I see the cameras, Dave?
Do you see the cameras?
I see all the cameras.
The cameras see you.
Looking at
yeah.
ourselves.
Where you do get camera feeds in some areas. Where would you like to look?
Outside
Monster?
the door.
Okay, in the hallway. Yeah, so I would say you get that camera, and there's it's like, you know, the monster is in front of the camera more or less. So what you're seeing is a heaving bulk, kind of about a foot away. But you're seeing a massive. I always describe this monster. To me, it's like, you know, the opening of Princess Mononoke, the boar monster that's covered in all those weird snakes. It's sort of that, but imagine instead of weird snakes, it's like tubes and components of electronics and things that are in this writhing mass on this kind of semi-biological, semi-technological sort of horrible thing that leaves this long stain of biogel behind it.
No, General, I see a rad anime nightmare. What should I do? What camera should I look in, General?
Oh, God. Are the cameras looking on us?
Yeah, probably.
Like on purpose?
Oh, yeah, it's all very disconcerting.
Oh, great. Who's looking at us? Who is in the cameras and following us, Blue?
Who's looking at us, Dave?
I love this. We're going to be doing a body save, maybe plus computers right now, Blue.
Killer. Let's do it.
Body
Oh
save
no, I didn't
plus
want to hurt the
computers.
robot.
Body play plus computers is possibly one of my favorite roles I've ever heard a
Success.
GM call for.
0-7. Let's go.
Okay.
Who's gender now?
You felt something trying to hack back, you know,
Oh.
through the cameras. You know, you
I
look
hacked
through the
them.
cameras.
I counter back them. I
And
hacked
yet-
them right back.
How did you counter hack? This thing was flooding code into your system here, kind of trying to take over. What did Tender Blue do that was effective in fighting this back?
Oh, well, see, this is not my first. It's coming for me. It's coming for the center of my code, which is this giant pearl made out of data. And as soon as it's coming for it, trap shown. Slap that clamshell on him. And I trap it in there. So now I have it contained in some blocked data.
Whoa.
$1.5 million miniature comes with clap trap data protection great.
That's right.
Yeah, it's actually
Real
string
clapping
loaded.
action.
I was going to say. And it's a real USB.
That'd be kind of cute, though.
That would be kind of cute. Exactly.
Wait.
Get a little USB, you can unplug it.
Hold up. Wait.
Okay, good.
It's
So-
a wireless cell phone charger, and you place on top, and then it charges.
Stop! I want it now.
Unfortunately, it makes your phone look like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my dreams. That's what my dreams look.
That's
Like
if you roll
now.
a crit fail.
You're right. Okay,
To plug
fingers
in your
crossed.
phone.
Don't jinx it.
Hey, don't drop your phone, kids.
That's right. Tender Blue Dreams is your jazz album. So
Ooh.
Mean
That's
D
when I got
says
experimental in college.
Mean D says in chat goes to update my pledge.
yeah.
Gonna drop that 1.5 in all by
Yeah, that's right.
themselves.
Okay, I'll do it. I mean, we have the capability, so
The urge.
yeah,
We can
and
build it.
the strong desire. Okay, so this door's crumpling. This thing's breaking through any second now. Are you guys heading out of here? Are you gonna try?
I'm
to
holding
keep...
the door until I see
I
them moving
am at
forward.
the far door already.
I am blocking Tender Blue with my body at this point. Like what they're doing is important in my eyes. In my
Is that door
incredibly
locked? Is
panicked
that the
eyes.
problem?
It is locked. Yeah,
Unlock the door.
yeah. I'll give you this one for free, TB, because you hacked the
Ugh.
thing. So you get one for free, and the rest of them you're gonna have to roll on. But yeah, you work your tentacles into your
Okay,
pearl there.
so
I
roll
just
to
pulled out
roll
a
a little stank on it. So the thing is trying to slam through one of the doors, right?
Yeah.
So the opposite door, I want to open and close repeatedly to try and distract it.
Like the one you're going to go through?
The one behind
No,
it?
the one behind it, right? So
It's in the
on the other
corridor.
side of a door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think that buys you a second where it's sort of the slamming just stops for a second, and maybe you open the door into the next area, which is
This is great. That's what
Hey,
I run.
General.
That's what I run and push you the rest of the way through.
yeah.
Oh,
And you guys are pulled into the maintenance engineering area, which, unlike the rooms up to this point, they're rooms built for humans to inhabit. Maintenance engineering is an industrial massive space, right? It's meant for machines and people working on scaffolding and all kinds of things. It's there's a big power generator area in the middle of this thing, and everything is gantryways and huge pits down into darkness far below in the tower. And you make your way on catwalks through the space. And it's completely pitch black in here. Sad to say.
No,
Yeah.
Is Tender Blue emitting any light? Is that, or do
absolutely.
you have to do that on purpose?
I mean, I'm imagining because limitation is fun, that all my tubules are now like jammed into that thing, so I can't probably pick anything up. But if Dave would allow it to glow with an unnatural light, that would be great.
I mean, it's got a screen on it, Like,
Yeah, it's a good screen. It's an iMac, everyone. You all seen one?
I also will point out, I still have a flashlight on the end of my thing that is always around.
So, General, tell me, your phobia, is it like if the lights went out, you'd freak out, or are you scared just that this is a dark room? Give me that.
I feel like if the lights went out, I think she'd definitely freak out. If something started coming at them from the dark, like from a fully pitch black area, I think that might also be grounds to trigger that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you're in this area. It's crisscross catwalks. There's sort of a circular outer gantry-way that goes around this massive circular space. And then like a spider web, the catwalks all meet in the middle where there's a massive pillar, many stories tall and down. And that is like the Star Trek style reactor core pulsing in the middle. But there seems to be, and that's maybe the other only light in here is the dull glow of the reactor core. But the glow of that reactor core is dulled further by it's covered in something, and you can't tell what, because it's all just in silhouette, it's backlit. But there's something that's covering and snaking its way kind of around this reactor core. The entrance to the manufactory, which is where you need to go to print the power converter, is on the other side of this massive space, football field sized kind of space.
So this is engineering. I'm immediately looking around for like a laser torch or a spark welder or something that I feel like will melt metal.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted a laser torch? I have one.
Hey.
Oh, one of these?
I just pull one out of my bag. Yeah, I have a laser cutter and a hand welder on me.
Great. I take that.
Perfectly
Yeah, you
prepared.
can just have these. That's fine.
I imagine there's some sort of searching for an unauthorized crevasse.
I got you.
I'm a bit tied up.
Right.
If you won't,
Unfortunately,
I
mean,
will.
this is
Okay.
thank goodness for you, General.
I'm gonna sparkle. And I do not have I will roll for it. I do not have a skill for it. I mean, military training, maybe I could try to argue military training is, I think, the most overpowered skill in Mothership.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to just spark one weld, just to make the door a little bit harder to get through, but not super hard to cut back through if I need to.
Oh, I thought you were going to spark one up. You were going to like light another cigarette.
I am. I'm getting sparked.
You're just so gritty.
But we're working on limited oxygen.
So
and then afterwards, I do pull out another cigarette and light it with the laser torch at the end,
or light it with the hot weld that you just welded.
Yeah, that's hot.
Whatever the grittiest option is.
Yeah,
let's smoke hot metal. Let's do that.
Yeah. Whether military training applies or not, I feel like this is probably intelligence, and I certainly know how to turn one of these things on. Whatever weld I just did I rolled a 62, so it did not do what I wanted it to do. You can decide later on what that means.
Sure. Yeah, I think you
you
welded
have
the
lung
door
cancer.
great.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, yep, just
Nailed.
like back in college or whatever.
You said we're on like a catwalk, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I see you trying to weld. I'm like, actually, maybe I should hold on to the laser cutter. Would it be possible to like laser cut away some of this catwalk so that if it comes behind us, it I don't know, it has to make a little jump or something?
We do
A
have
little-
to leave.
A
at
little
some
We- yeah,
point.
we have to
monsters.
come back out.
Classically, monsters cannot jump.
Classically,
We
monsters
got 'em.
can't jump.
Yeah,
We'll
I
be
think
fine.
that's great. I think imagine the space, the catwalks, to simplify things a little bit. It's more chaotic than this, but imagine it as a spoked wheel, right? So you've got a rim on the outside where you can walk, and you got spokes of catwalks into the middle. So if you were to sever one of those spokes, it would certainly slow it down to either have to jump or go
Go
the
around.
way around.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'd like to do that.
No, too bad I got the laser torch. I'll do it for you though.
Rip the laser torch back. You don't even know how to turn this damn thing on.
And so, Doc, I mean, that's obviously going to be something that you guys are going to want to move somewhere and then cut it behind you. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And General, you said you were on point. You're taking crevasse inspection duty, right?
I'll take crevasse duty at this point because there's something coming from behind us. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that we're not getting hit on both sides with weird tech gerblins.
So roll me a D10.
D10.
I hate when you have to roll a D10.
So that's a 1. I don't know what that means. But it
It's
feels
probably
important.
good. It's probably good.
It's
roll
perfect.
under,
It's
that's all.
wonderful. I love
It
I
feels
love the
either
one.
good or bad, and I'm not, certain on either way.
We're gonna find out.
For sure.
Okay,
Did it last
so
time.
what do you all do? So you got you've sealed the door behind you, totally
Perfectly.
safe.
For
perfect
sure.
weld.
For sure.
Perfect.
Where to?
well.
Where to, gang?
I mean, we got to get to manufacturing, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, manufacturing.
I want to get in and out as quick as possible.
So are you making your way through the shortcut of going through the center towards the core, or are you going the long way around the outside?
No, shortcut,
the
of
circle?
course.
Shortcut.
Okay, great.
The general is going to make the excuse of looking for crevasses and take the long way.
But
Okay,
it's far
Oh,
better. It's far
actually-
better lit in the middle of the room. General, are you sure?
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
No, we have to
I
go
mean,
this way.
your
because I wanna
point. So
weaken the catwalk.
whatever way you're going, we're following.
Are we? I don't like
you
that.
are
I don't
point.
like that reactor in the middle. I do not like it.
You know, that's a very fair response. I sort of forgot about it.
It's got weird stuff
I'm
going on
happy
it.
to
You
go
said
the
there was
long
weird
way
stuff
around.
going around it.
I remembered. I
Mhm.
just assumed the light
I
was
like
going to
it.
make you want to go that way.
Yeah, it's the most well lit place in the whole room.
Well, that's true, but it's well lit, and I know that there's something gross there. So I'm gonna take my chances with some place that might not have a gross thing in
Okay.
it. I think.
Okay, so I guess we go the long way.
All right, you guys start going the long way, counterclockwise, let's say. You're heading counterclockwise around this large circular thing, and sure enough, you hear that distant booming coming closer that you now recognize as whatever this thing is that's been pursuing you. And then you hear another sound, maybe Night. I don't know who has the best senses, but we'll say Night hears this. Night, you hear just a plaintive cry coming from the reactor area, a moan, and then someone says, "What's that light? There's a light."
No
Hello?
light. Nope. You don't. No. There's
Hello
nothing
there.
over.
Do you need any
Who is
assistance?
Yes. Oh, please. Please.
Where are you?
Fire
Show
outside.
yourself.
We're here at the reactor core. We're stuck. We're stuck here. I don't know. I woke up here. We came here to follow the prophet's orders, but I woke in darkness, and now I'm here. We can't escape. My compatriots and I are here. Yes, your two compatriots are also here.
I will
Please.
define how many of us there are.
Yes,
The prophet,
it's me and you and the one other one.
the prophet wanted you to be there, so we're just gonna let you stay there. We
Gener-
wouldn't want to go against his word.
General, what are your orders, General? I can go check it out if we need a evac.
We're trapped.
All right, so
There's one
Like-
character that's good in this group.
would like to with my cyberspace brain that I'm now carrying around on my back. I'd like to see what's going on in this room. Either visual, maybe environmental control.
shit.
Maybe
Okay.
if there are readouts of the core. So like if there's information about it, for example.
Love it. Yeah. So core temperature slightly below normal. Something is draining it. A great deal of power is being drawn from the core. It's doing fine 'cause it's a giant nuclear bomb kind of core thing, but it's definitely way taxed over what it normally should be. So that's one piece of data that you got. Another thing, environmental scanners, it's much hotter in here than it should be. This room's actually normally quite cold, and there's a lot of heat, and there's definitely a strong heat signature coming from whatever that material is that's wrapping around the core.
I love that we're all playing in Doom Vision except for Blue, who is now in Zelda Vision. So camera to camera.
Blue's hacked the mainframe.
I've hacked the mainframe.
You have.
I mean, my assumption, I think, based on our history, is that the general is going to tell me. So I actually just start that way, whether the general wants me to or not. Like it is.
I know that's probably fair. Yeah.
You can tell me to stop, and if you do, I will.
No,
I'm
I
just
mean, knowing our history, especially knowing like what you had said about like we were on a thing together that had few survivors. Yeah, she's gonna want to go.
I turn on every light in the entire room on full.
Oh.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
All right. I just want to see how effective that is, because again, there's like damage to the systems in
Sure.
places. So just roll me computers. Not that you can't do it, but I want to see how
would love
much
to.
it works. Yeah.
Of course.
how computers it is.
How many computers?
Let's see how I can computer. Yes, I got a 12. I computer the heck out of the mainframe with
Yeah.
Such
my
computers.
giant brain.
Yeah, a halo of lights comes on in the reactor core area, so around it, and just illuminates below. And some of them are flickering, and a few pot lights on the walls come on and sort of illuminate the gantryways, and some of those are broken. But overall, there's a lot more light in here. And what you see is, again, a mass of tubes and cables and weird gel, like a nest, like an animal's strange cobbled together nest, a magpie that's like a Cronenberg made a magpie, you know. And
It's a great statement.
Yeah, like Cronenberg's magpie, you know. That's the name of my next book.
Visual.
And so
That on a t-shirt.
sure. You know what?
Where's the minifig of that?
We're turning them out today. Yeah, so in this nest, and these three acolytes, you could tell by their red robes, the same as the figure that was face down, choked to death before. They're in the, caught in this nest, and they're screaming out, and they're looking at they're wiping their eyes if they have free hands, and saying, please, oh, thank goodness you're here, come save us right now. And at that moment, I think you see a tentacle kind of tube burst through the perfect weld, which is shocking, and snake its way and start, to the doors.
Hey, how long does a bioscan take?
It's quick.
The concern that the general will voice right now is: are these guys still guys? Are they still people?
I don't think we should test it. I think we're all going to be happier if we don't know the answer to this. We just keep going.
And leave them?
Fine.
I think you're basically at
I'm
them
like
now.
halfway to. I'm like halfway
Yeah.
to them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give them another scan.
Sure. They read as 97% human.
Is that normal for us? In the
What
future?
I voice is I don't think we can take them with us. I'm so sorry.
That's not good enough. Their helixes have been unzipped, y'all.
That's
There's
pretty
been some
good.
unzipping going on in here, and I think it's on
97%.
that helix.
That's like somebody's got a pacemaker. Like that's
Yeah, come on.
I think a
He's
banana's
fine.
like
One of them's
95.
94. One of them's 97.
true.
And if you think about it that way, They're probably closer to plants than they are people at this point. So we just need to keep going.
And we don't like plants.
Look at the
I do
fucking
recall
tentacle.
this.
It is coming through the door. We need to.
I think they reach out to
No.
I don't know how it got to that
Deadmeyer.
weld.
Yeah, Dreadmeyer is right there in front of them. And this, thank you, sir. Do you have a patch, like, does it say your name on your suit?
100%. Like everybody else has the like the wipe thing. Mine is embroidered, and then it says good. It says "good boy" on a patch underneath it. Also, too.
Yeah.
Dreadmeyer, good
No,
boy.
I wanted that one.
They were all out.
They say, "Oh, Mr. Good Boy,
No.
thank you. Please, you have that welder. Cut us free. We saw your skill."
I think I gave the welder back to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if the doctor's trying to convince us that like these guys are not human
Who
anymore,
I also
like
imagine is nowhere near me right now.
You know what? I'll come set them free, and I just want to put them out of their misery.
yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna defer to you on this one, Doc.
With the laser cutter.
You're gonna laser cut them free?
Yeah, I'm going to laser cut them. They're not coming free.
You are
laser cutting them
You are
dead.
severing a connection they have, but it's the connection to this mortal plane.
Right.
That's the exact thing.
You're,
there.
you're
So
gonna
you're freeing
cattle,
them.
cattle prod them like it's
Spiritually.
No Country for Old Men in the brain.
Right.
Yeah,
No more hard
I'm
decisions.
thinking.
The general's
only
like,
fire,
"Oh, okay, we're
destruction,
letting
and
them go."
rebirth
Oh my
right
God.
now.
So is that what you're doing, Doctor? You're gonna execute these three?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your laser cutter cuts across them. They cry out in agony and go silent. And in that moment, as everyone else looks on,
I think we should be going.
the doors rip open, and this
Oh no!
beast, which you've illuminated very well, so that's great. This tentacled monster we described before bursts through and just starts galloping towards you down the closest gantry.
Well, it has to take the long way because I did try to cut the cat.
Well, but did you actually
Has
end
to do
up?
with a leap.
Did you do the cut?
Mhm.
Did you go for it?
I did roll for it, and
Oh, you did. Okay. I missed
I rolled. I went to go roll for it, and then we moved forward, and I was like, oh, "I'll just bring it up when it comes up." But I did
Okay.
roll a 22 on it, so
that's
It's
a critical
cut super
success.
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to bring up. I rolled a crit on
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I want to get it done.
Totally.
As fuck.
I think
I begin trundling away.
even better, you cut the thing so maybe it was sort of, weakened, hanging by a thread, and it steps onto it.
Yeah, I was
know?
hoping to make it drop. With
Yeah,
a
and
crit.
it goes, and it's like swinging down in the darkness, and temporarily at least it looks like Balrog style, Lord of the Rings. It's fallen.
I
to
jump
this
in after. No.
pit. Ah!
We said Balrog style, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were.
I got the reflex.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
We were all thinking.
Just rappel down the
And you are Gandalf. You're the scientist. so-
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we got rid of it. We got to get moving. And
The
I just
general's
hope
just
they
like-
choose to ignore that I just executed 3 people.
Yeah,
in
and
front
now
of
we
them.
can cut. Now we can cut across.
Okay, yeah, let's
the
keep
short way.
moving.
Like I would argue for potentially a panic roll here. Like
Mm,
the general was convinced you were going to let these people go,
mm.
was standing right next to you, and you executed them in front of her.
I mean, there's no rule that says you can't just roll a panic roll.
Right?
because
Like I know.
Yeah,
Like
go
I
ahead
don't want
and
to be
roll
like,
that
and then I panic.
There is an Airbud moment here where if you think that's happening to your, there's no rule that says you can't
that
roll a
feels
panic
I feel
roll
like-
on your own.
Yeah, just go.
Feels
ahead
like
and
I had to
roll it.
mention it
Yeah.
at least. Like
Roll sanity first, because I think you
For
can't.
sure.
You find it unbelievable that he would do that because you're a good person.
We were
But it's also-
only
it's no man left
97%
behind.
human.
Like,
Yeah,
well, he was
exactly.
like, he's like 97% human. And they were like, oh, yeah. And they was like, you know what? I'll save him. And they were like, oh, okay. And it's just the back and forth was like, are we
Somebody
good?
had to make a decision
Oh,
in this
no.
moment.
Oh no, not even a little bit. That is a 97, my guys.
That's a big fail. Big
That's
fail.
super
go ahead and
bad.
roll a panic.
So you take a classic one stress and then you roll
Sure.
panic. And if you
Sure.
fail, everyone's gonna freak out.
Everyone's gonna freak out because you just committed crimes. Does this one? Do I want to roll over?
Over.
Okay, yeah, cool. That's an 11/7. We're good for the moment.
Look,
So
I knew I wasn't going to be able to convince you that we couldn't take them with me, so I needed to turn the option off. Now we have to get
She
moving.
just heel turns and walks away. Like,
Okay, we're going the right direction.
Nope,
Who
I
gives a
can't-
shit?
I mean,
can't-
one of
I can't
one
do
of you
this.
certainly heel turned, but I don't know that it was the general.
I want to be honest. Is
That's
it
a
heel turn
wrestling
if I wasn't
reference.
likable in the first place. Because the answer is no. That's just being a villain.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah,
All right.
y'all been
Yeah.
calling him a good doctor this whole time, and I'm like,
There's
Where?
a doctor.
he's a doctor.
Skilled doctor.
Skilled doctor.
Are we sure? Have we seen his degree?
So we
It's
make
in
it to the other door,
astrobiology.
which I'm assuming does not automatically open.
Yeah, this one's locked as
Unless-
well. I
I
think,
open it with my brain.
and because you have time on your side, because you balrogged the monster, there's no time pressure. That even if it took you a minute to crack the code for the door, you'd be able to get it to, you do your magic and it
I'm
opens
still trying
before
to
you.
explain my decisions to you as we're waiting for the door.
The whole time
She's
you're
not
like,
listening.
yeah, but like they weren't all human.
Yeah, I'm like, I was worried they had started to unzip the thing, the rebirth fire.
She's whistling an old song. It's Carry On, my favorite son. But she's just whistling something, just like, okay, you know what? Sure, fine, whatever. This is fine. Everything's fine.
Okay, cool. We're
I
good. then.
cheerfully go. "Na, na, 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 na."
And at the crescendo, the doors open. Yeah. So you open and roll me Tender Blue. Roll me D10 because you opened this door into our next room.
You instantly
Got
die.
it.
Mm.
What'd you get?
I get a 5.
Okay, cool. So you open this door into the manufactory. That's what was on the map, and it opens, and this is another industrial scale room. And this room is entirely dominated by these 3D printers that are the size of small tower blocks. They're like stories high. They go way up into the ceiling. It's very, I'm using a lot of references now, but that's fun. So like Alien 3, there's like chains hanging from the ceiling, these giant printers that are spinning and making things, right? But in the center of the room, what they're making parts for and the arms are assembling, and it's like almost assembled. It's this thing that looks kind of like a mechanical iron lung meets a womb, and it's about the size of a small house, and it's just pulsating red, and it's open, and a figure is waiting in front of it for you, dressed in long,
It's an
flowing red
unauthorized
robes.
womb.
My immediate instinct was to just say I shoot it. And
Yeah.
in all honesty, that is the move. But narratively I wanna poke it. So I think I
it
look,
could be
I think-
interesting. Whatever.
I get up next to the general and I raise my gun and I point it, ready to fire.
Clarification's sake, that is not the thing we are here to print, correct?
The
giant womb of iron.
the womb. You're not printing. the womb.
Plot twist.
No,
Okay,
not
cool.
today. Not today.
Plot
We're
twist,
not
that's
printing
not
the person who came out of the womb either.
It's been
Okay,
us the
cool,
whole
cool,
time.
cool.
We're the
That's right.
baddies.
That's right. Yeah,
No,
they're
I'm
just
the
trying to
good
print
guy.
wombs, peacefully. You guys are wrecking their womb party.
No, she sees you raising your firearm and she will raise hers as well. Hers is leveled at the person.
Okay.
Not firing, just there.
Oh, now it's fine to just execute people when we come across them.
I'm not shooting yet, doctor.
You
Blue
aimed
and
your
very
gun.
soft.
It means you're willing to.
Yeah.
Very soft-hearted leader of the military.
What's the play,
Bl-
General?
She just points her firearm at this fool and like takes a step forward towards them. It's like, identify yourself.
You don't know me because I certainly know you. I'm the prophet of Bishamonten, and you've come just to where I want you. Welcome to the sanctum. Welcome to my masterpiece. And he, dark face, big head apparatus. There's a rebreather that you all kind of have. It's almost become like a marker of colonists down around the neck. the mouth opens. It's sort of human, but weirdly cavernous. You know, maybe the jaw is too long, the mouth opens too wide, and it says, "Witness my masterpiece." And
we
pulls in.
recognize him as the prophet.
You recognize the robes they're wearing. They've been maybe further adorned than they were before, but this is the robe of the first instructor. The first instructor, Genma, who said second in command after Abbot Ben Shiryuki, who disappeared about 6 months ago.
Is this the voice that some of us who have been paying attention to the radio have been hearing?
Yes. This is the voice. The strangely almost human or human but twisted voice with a weird kind of doubling, a weird echo to it. You know?
She's not firing yet. She's not lowering her gun, though.
I walk in.
Like you walk up to the thing.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead and execute him then. Sure.
This is the prophet.
Do
We're not
your thing.
executing him.
The prophet
that's your
turns to you
thing
and
now.
says, "A supplicant." It's what's your first name?
You know, I don't.
It's a great
Doctor.
business.
You're not actually a
Ask yourself
doctor. Your
that
first
every
name's just
My
doctor.
name's Dr. Doc.
Don't stop me.
Dr. Doc Knight.
I didn't come up with one.
First name Doc, middle name Tor.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah.
He says your first name.
He says your first name exactly, or maybe you're like Cher. You know, you're just called Knight.
Yeah, I'm just called Knight. That
You're just
works.
Knight. Supplicant Knight. Good, you brought an experiment for the editor. You're ready to ascend. I knew you were one of the enlightened ones. Please join us.
I'm gonna join him.
What's everyone else doing? Well, Supplicant Knight steps into the giant womb before him.
Into
I
the
turn
womb.
his womb off with my
Giant
brain.
womb?
You try to turn the womb off with your brain?
I turn his womb off with my brain.
Okay. Never
Put it
thought
on
I'd say
womb.
that.
Citizen Prophet, this is an unauthorized use of 3D printing technology and will be terminated. If you have a complaint, please take it up and send your message to corporate sector. And then I shut everything down. I drain
Okay.
all the power in the room completely.
All right, then you know what to do. Roll that intelligence plus your hacking, and we'll see if this works.
Would be my pleasure. I get an 11. That's a critical success.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So you are really good at hacking computers. That's amazing. So you just get right in there and you're like, I don't know. I imagine you're like it's hackers and you're seeing the code and you're just like moving it around.
Oh yeah, I'm on
and
flying
you're-
through cyberspace.
Exactly. And you
It
slot.
actually dissolves into the cloud.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
right.
you slot it all in, and the room shuts down. The machine, the printer stops spinning, and Genma just screams the classic, "No!"
And I go,
And just-
yes.
and just reaches out a robed hand and just blows this massive gout of flame seemingly out of its hand right into your mollusky
Foam gun.
face. Okay,
And
so,
I foam gun at him.
No.
so you're trying to
And
do
they
an
meet each
opposed-
other in midair. And
Yeah.
they fuse back and forth.
Yeah,
for a little bit.
exactly. It's going to do one of these. Okay, so
This
like I
has
said
gotten really
before,
anime in the last 30 minutes.
it really did.
All this.
You know, in a good
Brilliant
way, though. This is a
execution.
very rich anime
Yeah.
we've seen here. So please, this is like I said, I don't do the opposed rolls. They're not going to roll, so you're just going to be rolling to see if you can kind of outgun, outfoam Genma here.
I definitely can't. It just, it's Chekhov's foam gun. Like,
That's right.
I did it
That's right.
before. He's shooting fire. I'm like, ha! So this is not going to work. But I was proud of the moment.
That's
What do you
right.
want me to roll?
It's going to be combat plus anything applicable, which I kind of doubt you
this
have.
is-
But if you,
This is not going to work. If you give me like computers, it'll be slightly less pathetic. But other than
Yeah.
that,
I don't know if computer's going to help you with a quick foam gun.
all right, foam gun. Stat
The level of
combat.
faith I have in you right
No,
now.
I failed.
But was it a critical failure?
It was not. I would have
Oh,
said.
see, well, that's almost like a success.
My combat is a 21. I'm a very helpful robot. Not good at fighting. Got a 67.
When you're trying
But
to, when
my
you're trying
brain
to fight,
is Techno God, so that's cool.
yeah, when you're trying to fight someone's flame gout with your foam gun, a normal failure is the best you can really hope.
I think so too.
I'm gone.
So
Could have been
my
worse.
my mollusk friend, you take 1 wound of damage from the
Nice.
flamethrower. Yeah,
Oh my
that's
god, our first damage.
I know, but I do
Right.
play Mothership that when you take a wound, you roll on the critical wounds chart,
Yeah.
which makes it even more dangerous.
Okay.
It does kill characters fast sometimes,
I love,
but I like
how
this-
every warden has their thing where some of them are like, I make people roll on the panic table all the time, and other ones are like, nah, I just dismember them. It's fine.
Yeah, I love the explosive potential for violence in this game. Like nothing, and all of a sudden you've lit on fire, and now you're exploding. So roll me a D10, please.
I have the. Oh yeah, I'll just do the D10. Sure. Do. 3.
Okay, that's not so bad.
It's
You
not
are-
so bad, everyone.
it's just a large burn. Yeah. So you suffer a large burn, and so I think what you'll do is you'll take disadvantage on your next action because I don't know what large burn means in this case. So
It smells
Lots of pain.
like
Usually.
seafood.
it's just
Gas.
horrible pain. Yeah. So you're going to be taking disadvantage on your next move.
My God, the agony! It's
Yeah.
overwhelming.
And you're like a little bit on
Just
fire.
Pickles.
Yeah.
And I'm a big
It's
mollusk.
it smells like a clam bake, and my mouth waters a little, and I'm not comfortable with it.
A little bit.
Yeah, if the audience wasn't against you now, there's definitely against you for sure.
This
They're
was
like,
the
all right,
action.
betrayal, cultist betrayal, we get it. But that's
It's
too
human
far.
nature.
Yeah, this was. I'm not happy about this.
So I think Genma's going full like evil emperor here. Flamed you once, approaching you slowly, trying to just cook you to death until the computer turns back on. So what are our Marines doing?
The general's queue is my queue at this point in time.
I'm stepping between our robot friend and.
Oh no! As she tries to do
whatever
that, I
hits
clock her in the
next.
back of the head and knock her out.
What? No!
Do you
No!
like how it's just like the general's queue is my
Here's
queue,
a heel
which is
turn.
100% true. As soon as she tried to put herself in danger, I'm like, not again.
Clock.
Okay. General, do you try to do anything about that, or are you just taken completely by surprise?
I mean, could I see it coming?
There is nothing.
Could I argue
I have done nothing to ever make you think this character was, and I just saw you as a player's reaction to this. I don't think the general sees it coming.
Yeah.
Can I argue that I have expert training in hand-to-hand combat? I could see a punch coming.
I was
How about-
behind you.
What about with disadvantage? I think that would be.
I think that's great.
Give you a little
Okay.
agency, but you don't have a great chance here.
That's fair.
Okay.
You can still hit me. I just want to be like not
Yeah.
unconscious on the floor.
So
I'm
we're gonna call
also
this-
Valuable guy.
trying to draw to a narrative satisfying conclusion in the next couple of minutes also too.
Exactly. So a speed check here.
Speed check. Ooh, nope. That's not gonna. No, that's no 91. Not even a little bit. I'm
All right.
gone.
You want to
The-
roll to see if you get a critical failure on your disadvantage?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah,
for
well, that
sure.
is-
Let me
that is true.
excuse me. Let me just no, that was better, actually, unfortunately.
The
So
critical failure where you accidentally kill the general doing this.
Maybe.
you just send her falling down. There's a catwalk here now, actually. We've
Right.
just
So the general goes sprawling onto the floor, and Genma gives you that look while just continuing to torch the mollusk.
And after I do it, I yell stop and see if I
Okay.
can get him to.
Dr. Knight.
I'm a coward. I'm afraid.
Dr. Knight's
My
in the
phone gun, he
mollusk
does
power
in the
in the
womb.
womb.
I'm climbing back further into the womb. I'm
You're
not,
like in the no.
I'm sat.
trapped
Like
inside the-
Okay.
Yeah.
Mollusk, roll me to see if you can maintain the hack, because now like the efforts are redoubled and you're on fire. So
Great.
Um,
And you roll with
disadvantage. You got it. You got it. Stat.
I'm just hoping I get completed before that.
Yes, that's a 70 and an 18, both under my hack.
a 70 is under your hack.
Yeah, I got 55 plus 15 is hack.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Criminy.
Okay.
I'm smart, and now I got a supercomputer brain.
You're a computer, yeah.
You
All right, so
maintain
while
it.
he's cooking me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the opposite to throw him. he's in the womb, so I've cut all the power in the entire thing. Now all of the power that I have access to is all going to go full blast into the room.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
going to overload the womb
Yeah.
and explode it, and hopefully...
We're going to see what happens to Dr. Knight in that process.
Rest in
Short
peace,
circuit.
Dr.
Well, I mean,
Knight.
I don't care about him. He's clearly SOL. I'm
that's
thinking
fair.
about the Prophet and the room and the evil infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's going to get overwhelmed. So it's all the way this to all the way max.
This is a
Here we go.
beautiful turn. I love it. So you max everything, you crank all the power, and all the screens, every readout, those 3 red dots in the halo appear on all of them briefly and say, I am Bishamon 10. This is my vision. You will not stop me. But as it's saying that, like the screens are getting brighter and brighter and brighter. You know what I mean? And like the symbols are kind of starting to light bleed out into everything. The light is overwhelming. Stuff starts exploding. And the machine starts powering up and just going like, and Night inside, you experience like flashing lights, like an MRI machine. It's clunking, it's moving, and you just feel your body being torn to pieces and reconstituted and
Getting
torn to
unzipped,
pieces.
baby.
Yeah.
Unzipping.
You ain't rezipping
Exactly.
this one.
Unzip.
Right.
No code, no DNA.
Yeah, that's right. So roll me a body save, Night.
I cover the like I get between the general and this when it's
I was
happening.
gonna
I'm
get
out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
add theology
if only
to
you hadn't
this?
clocked her in the head, maybe she could have saved herself, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm
She was
unconscious
stepping
or whatever.
into gouts of flame. This was not going.
Yeah.
good.
I know.
Hey.
It's like,
it's a 97.
that's not great.
No.
No, I would say it's not. Thank you.
I don't
So
know.
roll me-
You
now
succeeded.
roll
I
me
don't know what that even
2d10.
looks like, to be honest.
This is going to be your result here, and I'm not going to tell you until a good moment.
You said
What-
2d10.
Yeah,
That's
and you're
it.
adding them together in this case.
Okay. Cool. It's a 7.
A 7. Okay, sure. All right. So everybody, I think everyone needs to take a body save because the room is exploding.
Sure.
For sure.
Can I argue that now that I'm between the general and them that they either have advantage or do not have to?
Yeah, the general I think has advantage on this body save for sure.
Okay, for sure. Can I add anything if I'm unconscious, or am I just?
I think it's an exploding room. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
that's
can think
fair.
of something. You've
I had
already
to-
got a body shield. So
I had to
that's
ask.
nice. Yeah.
I failed.
Okay.
So I failed and then I critically failed. So,
Awesome.
but that was advantage. I don't know if that counts. That's up to you.
Oh no! So you
Yeah.
get just the failure is what you get, and then
Unless-
Since I had prepped for this, and because I know I anticipated what was coming, can I add military training to know how to save for this?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
buy-
prepped,
I
you
buy
Then I
it. You can
pass.
pass.
prepped for this
Then
right in
I
the base of your
pass.
skull.
Okay,
That's
you
right where
pass.
you prepped her.
You
So-
mean you could do that, but I couldn't add theology to my body save.
I mean, you are being
You pray.
atomized.
You pray quick. You feel better about it.
Hammerstein, how did you use your military training to just narrowly escape being blown to pieces?
Oh, so I got distracted by our Discord chat, which has some great product mock-ups in it at this point in time.
Amazing.
And so we'll share them on stream in a little bit. This is 100% like I turned and we see that like as much as I'm in slightly more durable like gear that's obviously been mildly reinforced, I've actually like there is all of my gear is strapped to my back specifically in ways that just kind of have created a barrier. And it's very obvious that like, oh, look, there's stuff hanging out. Like anybody who has military training would be like, oh, like he's obviously covered specific puncture points to prevent getting horribly impaled by things as the room explodes around me.
Awesome. So you managed to weather this storm. Unfortunately, Tender Blue, and despite your protection, the unconscious general, they do take a wound each. Tender Blue, you're an android. Do you have 3 or 2 wounds?
2.
You have 2. So you're going to make a death check. And General, you're going to roll fire and explosives severe damage. So each of you is going to make a d10.
Just 1d10?
Yep.
3.
Okay, you got a 3 for fire and explosives. You're just peppered with shrapnel, so you're kind of, your body is like you've been hit by a grenade, and you're functional, but you're just like, you've got pieces of metal and stuff. Yeah, you're pin cushioned, exactly.
Love
And Tender Blue?
Death check. And reveal. Great. I am unconscious and dying, and will die in 4 rounds without intervention.
Okay.
Cool.
The good news is that the prophet has been torn to pieces, and the only person here standing is the editor is a cracked egg open, and I think Knight stumbles out, smoking, stumbles out of this thing, and the only person standing right now is Hammerstein Deadmeyer III Esquire. So what do you do? You're in these ruins. This place has been destroyed, this temple of evil, and change. What's your reaction here?
The doctor stumbles out.
Yeah.
Oh, I shoot him in the chest with the freaking gun.
Incredible. Yes.
Awesome. You shoot the doctor in the chest. Doctor, you clutch it, and through a face that's just dripping, like your face is dripping off your body. What do you say? What are your last
I didn't
words?
even get to scan myself.
Oh no.
and then I rip it back out right after.
Yeah.
Says
And his body it turns to mush. Like he explodes in a gooey, putty-like streamers of formerly Dr. Knight flesh. They splatter everywhere, and you just what's left on the end of your harpoon gun? And this is maybe our closing shot. This is what you look at.
I think it is like it is the bioscanner. And it's like scanning, and then we see that same practiced move where I clear it off the edge of the thing and smash it underneath my foot, completely denying resolution, even for Keegan the player. Of what was on there.
No.
Perfect.
Yeah. The classic military doesn't do science. Just break it and we're good.
Yeah. I just want to ask for my own curiosity, is there any other way off of this thing?
In the adventure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this has never happened before. No one exploded the whole genetic editor. You're the first, so congratulations. Yeah, good job. I would say the most common ending I've gotten, and I played this a lot, not this new version, but the old version, is in the AI core, which is the next room. People will go in and try to shut down the AI Bishamon 10 that's manipulating the whole thing.
Let me clarify. I mean, is there a ship that I can navigate away from?
To get out.
Yes.
To get out. Yeah, you could. So the tower, I think we're going to do a classic, like the whole thing's exploding, and you got to we could do a montage of you trying to pull your friends to safety.
I'm only pulling. I mean, like, I'm assuming unless the mollusk is like ambulatory, I'm only concerned about getting I owe the general.
Yeah.
I will fling the general over my shoulder.
Okay. So I think we can have that final scene of you're like escaping as the rooms are exploding and the general's on your back. General, what's your reaction as Hammerstein is carrying your shrapnel peppered body out of this place?
I mean, here's the thing. He cold clocked me. So I think the general is out until very nearly they're like in a shuttle dipping. And I think her when she comes to her reaction is, and maybe this is the quick cut to black, is she pulls her gun on him.
Ooh.
Great. I love it.
And what do you say? What are your words to him as you pull your gun?
I don't know that she has words.
Right. Just like,
I don't think she needs to say anything. I think he knows that, at least in her eyes, fucked up.
I like the idea that's the post-credit scene is we get
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it's
coming
like he's
to on the ship
strapping
and
her
immediately
into the
pulling a
shuttle
gun.
or
Like
whatever.
Totally.
I'm piloting, I'm facing away. I hear the
Yeah.
click behind me.
You hear the click
Yeah.
up against you.
Love it.
Yes.
Love
Totally.
it.
And then sharp cut to black. Yes.
Yeah, and you just look. What's the look in your eyes, Hammerstein?
Oh, it's resolution. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
matter. Like only reason I went on this thing was to see if I could get her off of this,
Right.
away from
And
this place.
You accept it. You accept that you
Yeah.
betrayed her to save her.
Oh,
Imagine
delicious.
betraying
Oh.
people.
could you imagine?
There was a lot of betrayal.
Let's do a reaction roll.
Reaction roll.
Reaction roll is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game or adventure that we just played and talk about what it was like to play that. Today, we sat down and played the Mothership First Edition adventure Nirvana on Fire, which is funding live right now over on Kickstarter. You can head to ttrpg.link /NirvanaKS to go check that out right now. But we just finished playing. For folks who are joined us late or just catching this part of the show, David, why don't you go and tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and tell us about Nirvana on Fire.
Awesome. So I'm Dave Kenny. Fun fact, I'm from Vancouver, Canada, so I know a lot of the TTRPG scene that gets on these shows. We have a lot of American content, so it's fun to be a Canadian creator. Also very challenging for a post, but that's okay. Anyway, so I run Magnum Galaxy Games. I started it a couple of years ago, and Nirvana on Fire was my first Mothership game I published under that name. And then things really took off when I did Zine Quest 3 with Dying Hard on Hardlight Station, which I've been really happy to see. Lots of people played it. I get lots of play reports, and I love to hear the stories about how people did my Die Hard meets Alien module. And it's so fun. Like, if you haven't checked it out,
It's a great Christmas adventure.
it's a
For sure,
Christmas
for sure.
adventure for the whole family. Yeah, so that's my thing. We write adventures. My goal, I would say, my philosophy is that we write. I really put, we edit every inch of these things. We play test them, and I never want to put out anything that I think is not going to be a ton of fun at someone's table. So it's all, and I know that's what everyone's attitude is, but I spend a lot of time on that. Take a lot of pride in that. So that's kind of my philosophy behind these games, and I'm stoked to be having this expanded edition of Nirvana on Fire out on Kickstarter now, because the goal was, like, it was my first game and I did a good job at the time, but I didn't have a budget. I paid Eric Hill, who some of you might know. He's a great designer, does a lot of Mothership stuff. I paid him $75 to lay it out, and that was the entire budget for that game. And it got me some initial sales, got me a little bit of funding to be able to do Hardlight Station and have that Kickstarter. And so now I'm returning to Nirvana on Fire and doing a full package with editing. And I've got a great cultural consultant I hired to, like, really flesh out the Buddhist elements in the text, which was awesome. My friend Jerome, I mentioned at the top, is a killer artist. He does all kinds of work, and he came on to do all the art for this. And so I just love it. And my friend Shannon, who works at Panda, is going to do the box set, and super exciting. Yeah.
Awesome. No, it's so great to hear. I'm super excited to dive in. Keegan already typed it in, but if you are watching somewhere that's not on Twitch and you have questions, or if you're watching later the video on demand and you have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat whenever, wherever, throughout time and space that you're watching. If we don't answer it live, we'll get it to you after the fact. But yeah, super excited to and really enjoyed playing. Let's hear what some of our players were and see if they have any questions. Let's start with Graham. Graham, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and tell us what it was like to play Nirvana on Fire.
Yeah, so my name is Graham Gentz, and I'm a game designer and facilitator. I love figuring things out, RPGs, kind of just like without a net. And so I love horror, and I love sci-fi horror, and I like being creative. And so I was really excited that everybody delved in, that there was betrayal upon betrayal, that everybody really enjoyed the interaction. I can never get enough of the kind of sci-fi horror stuff. And it was great to play Mothership, and it was great to play this with Dave, and I really, really appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome. Do you have any questions that you want to ask Dave, or any specific things that stood out to you from the adventure?
Well, you said you've run this a number of times, and so we exploded it. Are there other novel solutions that in the past people have come up with?
Yeah, for sure. They've ended up having a climactic moment where they're struggling to shut the AI down, and it's turning off all the life support systems and trying to kill them with everything it can. And it's a race to the clock. That's happened before. Of course, we've had the classic Mothership, everybody dies before. And you've even had, some betrayals where I love it. Definitely 50% of groups will have at least one person who enters the genetic editor and has amazing things happen to them. So that's always fun, including a player that could only talk in thought shapes from then on, which was fun.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
Sorry, Keegan.
I was robbed, Tony.
Yeah. You
Or
just
two.
got the putty skin. But you know what? You did explode in a gooey glorious explosion.
You're
So
welcome.
cool.
I unzipped you.
Do you want to roll
Thank
to
you.
see what would have happened if we would have kept on playing?
It sounds like I would have turned to putty.
A 7, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were the putty skin. You look like a melted mannequin is the description in the thing.
I would have been so mad.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably good you killed me before I realized.
You're like, this is so
It feels like it sounded like you went through a couple of different iterations
Right.
before landing on that, given
Yeah.
the overpowering, which was like cool.
Awesome. Graham, any more questions?
I'll pass the kit.
Kit, tell people who you are, what you do, and what it was like to play Nirvana on Fire.
Hello. I'm Kit. I do actual plays and playtests both here and on the Lost Caravan. If you like what we played today, we play a lot of similar stuff over there. Things like Alien and Lancer are coming up in the next month. So come hang out. You can find me on Twitter at KitRollCause or on Instagram at just at KitRoll. And oh my God, it was so much fun. I've really gotten into like the sci-fi stuff lately, and I've never played Mothership, but it's been on my list of games to learn and to play. So I'm super excited to have gotten to dive into it today. And I love the colonial marines, the weird science. It's all so fun. I had a couple of questions actually. First, just point of order. Thank you for hiring a cultural consultant. That's always something that I look for when dealing with like games that implement real world stuff like religion and cultures, and like to see that somebody's, taking the time to do that. Awesome. Love to see it. Obviously this is like inspired a lot by like, you had said like Alien and stuff like that. Were there any like unexpected inspirations for Nirvana on Fire in specific, but like other adventures that you've done for Mothership?
Yeah, I mean, with Nirvana on Fire, the influence, it started with the seed of let's do something, let's go in a different direction right away. And of course, with a lot of our ttrpg products, we're becoming more diverse as a scene, right? The Southeast Asian scene is so vibrant now. That's been really awesome. The Latin American scene, but still, it's pretty dominated by North American and European perspectives. And so I thought the first thing I could do, was I'm just going to go against sort of that kind of European background. I'm going to go into something with the Buddhist background, and working with that. From my experience, I lived in Japan and China for a few years. So I had those experiences. I spent time in temples. I spent time with monks and stuff, in Zen places. They're important to me. So I wanted to use that iconography. But then you mentioned the cultural consulting, and I will say that process working with James Mendez-Hodes,
The best.
he was great. And it wasn't just checking on my stuff to be like, oh, this is okay, that's not okay. There's that, but really the process was way more like, let's enrich this with making like bringing in actual concepts that are going to be consistent throughout, coherent throughout, draw a through line and add to it a ton. And so like when I read this text now, I love the stuff that we worked on together.
What's one of those elements you pulled out from that?
So changing, it was originally Mahakala was the deity I chose, and then who's a Buddhist deity, but from a different school. So I had mixed schools, right? Not knowing a ton about it. And James was like, you should really, even though it's a future thing and they've gone their own direction, right? I'm not claiming they're Zen Buddhists, but they're inspired by that direction. So let's work with those within that one stream and make it kind of consistent across. So we had Bishamonten, and then from choosing Bishamonten, all this iconography came about, and that iconography turned into the Spear of Bishamon 10, which is that monster. And then some of the things that monster does are related to the powers that are ascribed to Bishamon 10 traditionally, these kind of things. Some of the imagery feeds back in traditional imagery. So I think it's really like, if you go look up these figures, you're going to see these echoes of imagery you're seeing in the text. So I think it really added a ton.
Kit, any more questions?
So this is there's a Kickstarter going on.
Mhm.
Correct. What is like your favorite like Kickstarter, like either like one of the little rewards that's happening or an update that happened to the game for this Kickstarter that you're particularly excited about?
Okay, that's a cool question. I built this tiered thing, and you know what? I'll do like a spoiler announcement because we crossed my last stretch goal today. And so I'm going to announce more stretch goals. I don't know, like
The
it's
$1
like-
million.
I mean, we
stretch
already
goal.
announced
Yeah.
one more
Yeah,
Yeah, we already have a $1 million
Wow.
stretch goal. I'm not there yet. So
Oh,
we
okay.
just hit 40,000, which is awesome. I lots of support. I know, I'm very happy. So we're going to announce our last, or maybe our last 3, although we do have a few new ones now after tonight. But we're building this thing towards kind of the character side. So first it was a digital character of the Acolyte. So we're adding a Mothership class, the Acolyte, which is a special character you can play as part, it fits right into the scenario and it's designed to play for this scenario. The next one is I'm going to get Meredith Silver, Junk Golem, the graphic designer. She's going to design a custom character sheet using, Jerome's iconography and art to build, our bespoke kind of sheet. And then what I'm going to put up tomorrow, probably, which is the big one, is I talked with Shannon at Panda, and they can do this cool. No one's done this before, which is fun because it's hard. Mothership's become very popular. People doing a lot of stuff. It's like a stack of character sheets that are on a perforated pad.
Oh, I love it.
Yo!
And because like Mothership characters die a lot, you know what I mean? So it's just like you can just rip off another character sheet of these
That's what they
things.
did with Cyborg.
Okay. So
Primal
Cyber
Primal
BB2,
Quest
but
has one. Yeah, but it's a great
There you
thing.
go.
Like, I love
It's a
it.
really
There you go.
cool. It's one of my favorite things
Yeah.
on Cyborg.
so
actually.
we're gonna be that's up next. So I think that's pretty cool that we've evolved towards this kind of tearaway character sheet thing.
That is so fun. And it's on theme, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's really cool. I will pass it on though.
Keegan.
Yeah, hi, I'm Keegan. You can find me online at KeeganEXE. I am a game designer and I stream here on +1 EXP as part of Cult EXE. Questions. It's very late my time and I can't think hard.
Sure.
Can ask a lot of good questions. I was going to ask about how frequently people like end up going into the womb, which sounds like it's fairly frequent.
50%.
You know what? It's one of those things in an RPG. I was listening to your This Ship Is a Tomb stream the other day that Tony was in,
It's a fun one.
and you're talking about how you always want to put things in your mouth or jack into the computer system.
Mhm.
And I think you see a giant genetic editor machine that's going to unzip your helix and do some crazy stuff. A lot of people want to try that out, even though
Yeah,
they
I
know
think-
it's bad news.
I think me and Tony are very much from the same school of like pull every lever, push every button
Yeah.
while you're playing a
Well,
game like this.
especially in a one shot, especially when we're exploring somebody's adventure. It's like, and especially when you think maybe somebody hasn't done this weird thing before, but even when you know, like that's
Yeah.
Because then it's fun to be like, ask the GM what happens when I do X, Y, Z, and have them be like, no one has done that before.
Exactly. I love it.
How
And
dare
then
you do that also?
we
Yeah.
we had someone. There's one that makes you delicious.
I
and
wish I had rolled.
I'm sorry, take it again.
Well, Keegan already has that genetic mutation personally, so
In real life, though, unfortunately.
so this is based on, and he's credited in the credits of this. I took Arnold K in the very original from Goblin Punch. I took one of his mutation sheets and I kind of changed it a little bit, but it's certainly inspired by that. And I'm not going to take credit for, he's got one there that says, makes the character delicious or whatever. So you eat this thing, or it changes you and you become, your flesh smells and tastes delicious. And so that was paired with someone failing a panic check. And I forget the result, but it's like you're hallucinating or whatever. And I think it was a mass hallucination and everyone started eating the person.
No.
That became delicious. Yeah, that was a
Love
wild.
that.
That was a
Beautiful.
wild
Big
scene.
ups. Big ups
Incredible.
from me.
cool. Love it.
Damn, my
Awesome.
clam bake wasn't far off.
exactly. Yeah.
Thematic clam bake. We love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we did have we did the Idaho and over on YouTube says, "Do I smell butter?" when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I had an absolute blast playing. I knew I would. I like I said, Hardlight is one of the ones that really stood out from that zine quest to me. There were a number. We actually covered it a couple of times because I would go back to it and I would point at some of the images y'all had done for layout on Hardlight that kind of suggested what was happening off the page in a really, really strong way that you just don't see in a lot of zines, even in a lot of Mothership, because it's very minimalist, and even though things will explode off the page, there's not always the suggestive reality that Hardlight did, but the way that the color usage, a lot of other pieces, just really strong, sharp. And I have a not secret passion for when people start doing getting board game development stuff into their RPGs. I was super excited when I saw you working with Panda. I do want to know more about that. And so that's going to be one of my questions. But as far as adventure itself, so I rarely ever play the meathead. I usually play scientist, android, teamster, because I like to have the skill options, other things like that. Having the double marine or the multiple marine is always fun because there's a lot of trigger stuff there. And I just decided, I was like, I'm just going to attach myself to Kit's character and that's going to matter. And so that's why I was like, Kit, go first and say what yours is, and then I'll figure out who my character is. But I was really satisfied with the way that all played out also too. As just like the only reason I'm doing this is to see if I can get this person off the station. Like that is my sole concern. Or off this planet. I don't care about any of the rest of this stuff. And so which is it just ended up being really fun, even though Kid, I should have asked before I clocked your character over the back.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It was just super enjoyable.
It was so good at the moment.
Yeah, and Keegan putting everything in their mouth for us was great. And then
you weren't doing it, so someone had to.
So I always say military. So there are two skills that I'm like in Mothership. I always feel like are so overpowered. And it's military. It's military training and hacking
and
is the other.
Hacking, yeah.
Once you get into a computer,
any cyberpunk thing,
it's like
it's always hacking.
And I always love how ridiculously. And once you let pick up the computer, I was like, well, this is gonna be interesting to see where this goes, because it definitely turns you into a wizard walking around inside of this place. And so,
I mean, I was a slow burn wizard. I was just waiting to see it, and the iMac just meant that I had a physical justification for the wild stuff I wanted to do.
100%.
My plan was be a lummox, get dangerous, maybe get scary, and then reveal that I'm actually an AI to destroy this other AI. And that was.
I thought we were going to win at that point when you got the iMac. I was like, all right, we're doing it. We're doing
there
it.
it is.
And when you know, when you know there's another AI, because this ship is a tomb. My character got to do a lot of the same kind of fun, weird stuff. Having them face off in programming against each other, communicating with each other in different ways, all the weird stuff that comes in is just prime, like androidy stuff. And so I loved seeing it in action. But yeah, super excited about the campaign. Great adventure. And I want to get people to know there's a taste here. There's a lot of different ways they can go. The amount of detail, like we went through it quickly, but it's very, very good from all the different kind of preview pieces that you've been able to share with me. I also love, like, I 100% knew the first thing we should do was go up and check storage, because in any Mothership game, if there's a storage unit, the first thing you always do is go check the storage unit so you can get the stuff you actually need to do the adventure well. We didn't do that. I was just like, fruit. Maybe there's some fruit. I didn't know anything about the weird plants. That was great. But yeah, talk a little bit about using Panda, because like I said, for us, we're looking at Long Pack and Panda for Through the Void for our production for that. Cool. And so I'm a big fan of Panda. I think they actually they are a slightly more expensive board game manufacturing, but the quality of what they can do and the breadth of what they can do is second in it. And they are not the most expensive. They're solidly mid-tier for cost, but solidly top tier for quality and ability. So talk a little bit about why, instead of using a book printer or sourcing your stuff separately, you decided to say, hey, we want to go and work with a board game manufacturing company.
Yeah, it came about pretty naturally, actually. So I've done a few zines now. We did Hardlight. We did Prison Station Echo is the other one that released last summer. And those were go to mix them, print the zines, print the other paper, kind of manipulables. It came out great. That's awesome. We wanted to try something a bit more. And while we were doing that, I have a regular board game night on Wednesdays with some friends, including Hag that I did Prison Station Echo with. And one of the guys invited over their friend Shannon. And we're talking, and we'd been playing for months at this point, and he's always bringing games over. And like, where do you get these? Like, oh, I work for a board game manufacturing company. Like, who's that? And he's like, Panda Board Game Manufacturing. And then I was like, that's amazing. We played a little more. He's like, like, you're doing all these zine things. We'd love to like work with you and do some kind of like box set stuff. And I'm like, I would love to do a box set with you guys. So that's how that came about. And at first it was absolutely just throwing stuff at the wall, being like, oh yeah, sure, that'd be fun someday or whatever. But then we really looked into it, and I'm like, this Nirvana and Fire is coming together. I love what it is. I think we can push it a little bit further with like a box set, especially because it's a re-release. So I didn't want to just do another zine, even though there's new content in it and stuff. I thought we need to do something more for people that bought the old one. I'm like, there's got to be a reason why you want this new one. You're getting more out of it. Like, there's a new experience. And so the box made so much sense, and Shannon was all the way on board, and they've been awesome. I mean, he's lives in the same city as me, and we can chat anytime. What's
some of the things that kind of capability wise, just, I mean, again, you mentioned the ability that they do everything, but for people who aren't familiar, like with what it's like to work with a board game manufacturer versus a printer, what are some of the kind of maybe unexpected advantages that brought in the conversation besides the $1 million stretch goal that you're announcing tomorrow?
Yeah, that's right. So they can do anything. They're jacks of all trades. So they can print your booklets, but they can also print, not just paper stuff, but take that beyond into little minis, counters if you want them to do it. They'll do the box set. They can do silver foil on the box set, which is going to be another, classic stretch goal to kind of really amp up the box set and add foil embossing and stuff. So they can add all these things, and they're in-house. It's one person. So I'm just talking to Shannon back and forth. He's like, oh, you want your patches? So in the past, I'd go over here for my patches. If I did stickers, it would be over there. Printing's over there. Here, I'm just talking to Shannon and saying, hey, what can we do? And, I was really inspired by, what's the Morkborg guy who's,
Johan?
Johan. Yeah, Johan. Johan, I listened to an interview with him, and I was so inspired when he said their attitude with, I think it was Merkborg, was like, they went to the printer and said, hey, what's the craziest stuff we could do? Like, I'm not going to tell you what I want. I'm going to ask you what you can do for this book, all the crazy stuff that's possible, and let's see how much we can slap onto this thing, which is the very maximalist Morkborg style, right? And so with the box set, it was a similar kind of conversation. Like, what can we do? Let's just have fun talking about all the different options. And he's like, you could do standees, you could do punch cards, you could do metal tokens, you could do this, and I'm like, that is amazing. So we really got to pick the stuff that I'm like was thematically appropriate, made sense, and would actually help people. But those were the adventures. I just had a ton of fun. I was like in a candy store, like picking all the different little elements of like, I could have this, I could have this, I could have this. Okay. And I just got to get it down to something that's coherent.
Yeah, love it. Super excited. Just want to encourage other designers, if you haven't looked at it yet. I know a number of folks that we are working with and supporting, as well as in-house. We're looking more and more at how we diversify that. Also, a lot of people just don't like working with some of the very prominent print options because of issues that will crop up on a regular basis. And so working with having a contact on the other side is incredibly helpful in helping navigate that. They've got a close eye on it. It helps really expand how things can smoothly progress also too, even though it does also extend a little bit longer on delivery.
It is, yeah.
But I think the trade-off is totally worth it. And so, please, if you haven't yet, go to ttrpg.link /NirvanaKS. Again, you got through the rest of your stretch goals. You're going to announce some more tomorrow. Everything's well-funded, over 803 backers, 17 days left to go. So very excited about what y'all have in front of you. I'll ask you this as just a last question. Zine month is coming up. A lot of things exciting for a lot of people. Is there anything any projects you're excited about that you've seen so far that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, it's not Zine month, but I know you have Watt on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've been talking a lot with Watt, and we traded interviews, and Watt did that interview with Sean McCoy that was great too, that Sean just published. But I'm super excited for
Cloud Empress is going to be really good.
Cloud Empress, yeah. And you're playing it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon. Keegan tried to play both of them. I said, nope, this one, Keegan. And so,
sorry, Keegan.
Yeah, we've had a great crew overall. But Meat Castle Gameware, Christian is going to be on with us tomorrow, and
cool.
Christian immediately jumped on when they saw it. A great part of the Mothership third-party community also too. So really looking forward to what comes out of this, but also what comes out of that. And it's good to see a bunch of Mothership 1E projects kind of coming back out again. Last year, Hull Breach sucked a lot of the air out of the room. People also had other projects too, but it's really kind of cool now that 1E is closer to production.
Yeah.
A lot of the normal designers who we've been really excited to see creating in that system are coming and re-releasing new projects or releasing new things for the first time. So always super excited to support the Mothership system. But we are again back tomorrow, like you had mentioned. If you want to support our streams, again, the best way to do that is to go hop over on our Ko-fi, which is down below, or head over to plus1exp.com, find an indie game by a small creator, by a member of our team, pick it up. When you do it, you don't just support our channel, you help support that creator directly. Most of our games are released as a print partnership or are held on consignment, meaning at least 50% of the funds go back to the creator who you are supporting. So please go support them and check that out. But we will be back tomorrow. We don't have a good way to end stream, so until next time, we're just going to wave at the camera until I take us off air. Thanks, everybody.
Be sure to authorize your crevices.
Enjoy the pizza.
Thanks, everybody.